From the beautiful new Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's the Pennzoil World of Outlaws in the Silver State Shootout, live on Motor Madness. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Evans. We are so glad you could join us for our debut coverage of the 20th anniversary year of the World of Outlaws. How far this rowdy band has come in just 20 years. In fact, between the action, we'll take you for a couple of wing trips down memory lane. We're also going to check in on the antics this past week of Dusty Rhodes and Pamela Van Doren. You'll recall they boarded that tour bus, in fact, 4 Pamelas, more beer than a cruise ship. And I thought, you know, air travel is highly overrated. But never overrated is the man right now with our Dave Reeve, 3-time World of Outlaws champion, trying to
That's right,
win it again, really, right, David?
Oh, I hear you, Steve. 3 times. Can you believe that into 20 years? And it was a long break until he won last year. 30 race wins. Better yet, you win that championship on your 25th anniversary.
Well, that was a way to do it. You know, we had this channel lock car. You know, every night it was right up front. We fell out of a few races, but you know, when it was running, we were usually in the top 3 and won quite a few.
Let's look ahead to this year. You've made a major change going from the Gambler chassis that we've seen you in for a long time to a Stealth. What kind of problems do you anticipate there?
Oh, I don't think there's any. The cars are real close, and we were able to get the car, you know, just the way I wanted it. So, you know, right now we're just looking to fine-tune it on a little bit. There's just a few things we want to do a little different anyway, and we were able to do it with a Stealth car, and you know, we should have won last week, but I crashed.
Defending champion doesn't necessarily mean he's the points leader heading into tonight. Bobby Gerald standing by with that man.
That's right, and his name is Jac Haudenschild, the wild child, the veteran driver from Wooster, Ohio, who won the opening race of the season last week at Manzanita Speedway. Now, we were rained out on Friday night, but in Saturday night's feature, it was Sammy Swindell who took the lead early and then flipped, giving the lead to Haud, and Haud was able to hold off Mark Kinser in some sometimes very dense traffic. It was the 22nd career feature event win for number 22, and Jack, while many teams were busy changing things around during the offseason, you guys kept everything intact. How important was it for you to start strong last week?
Well, it really was. I mean, the Pennzoil car, we were pretty quick last year, but, you know, we just couldn't seem to win very many races, and I got Guy Forbrook for the mechanic on the car, and, you know, these tracks now, this is going to be a second time around on most of these tracks, so I think we're going to be a lot quicker at the Pennzoil car this year.
Now, some big news in the pit area tonight, and we are so excited about it. There's a very good chance, we hear, that you are going to get a chance to race at the Indianapolis 500 for Panther Racing. You'll be a teammate to Scott Goodyear with Pennzoil as a sponsor. It is exciting and great news. And first of all, congratulations to you, Jack. And how close is this to being a done deal right now?
Well, I think it's going to happen. You know, I've been talking to Doug Bowles from Panther Racing, and you know, we've been back and forth a little bit, and we were going to try and test at Phoenix, and they had a little bit of engine trouble, so they're getting that straightened out. So we're just hoping to maybe test it Indy here in a couple weeks.
It has been a lifelong dream of this man to get some laps at the Speedway, and it looks like he's going to get the opportunity to do it. He's going to show us a little smile. Up in the booth, as always, is Ralph Shaheen, the voice of the World of Outlaws. Ralph?
Thank you, Bobby. Way to go, Jac Haudenschild. You're going to have a whole bunch of fans cheering for you at Indianapolis. You can be sure of that. Well, welcome to Las Vegas, everybody, and I'm joined, as always, in the broadcast booth by one of my best buddies to go to the races with, Brad Doty. And, Brad, I got to congratulate you on something. Just recently, folks, I don't know if you had a chance to see this or not, Brad Doty, that young guy right there, was named by the National Sprint Car Poll as the Outstanding Media Member of the Year and lifelong contribution to the sport of sprint car racing. Brad, from all of us here at TNN, you know, I was a huge fan of yours when you were driving, and I've become a huge fan of yours in the broadcast booth since you and I got to work together with these things the first time out. The Slick 50 series, remember those a few years back? It is well-deserved. Congratulations from all of us here at TNN.
Thank you.
It's the best thing they could have done. Hey, we're going to go racing here first tonight, and we're going to have 5 heat races, a C, a B, and A, and a dash, and a slick racetrack. What's that going to do?
Well, it takes away the horsepower advantage that some of these guys have. It's going to be more driver finesse, the guy that's easiest up and down on the throttle pedal, and the chassis setup is going to be critical. That's the key tonight, is getting the right tire combination, getting that race car set up to roll around this racetrack.
It really is a great equalizer here at this facility. You might remember last year, Jeff Swindell won 2 races, got them both right here at Las Vegas. It's a beautiful landscape here in Las Vegas. We're going to have some great racing for you. Stay with us.
Nashville hits the Big Apple Grammy style.
On the next This Week in Country Music.
He brought humor and joy to our hearts. The Grand Ole Opry will never be the same. TNN will always remember everyone's favorite grandpa.
I start every morning with ginseng.
I've taken garlic for years.
I remember my ginkgo biloba every day.
Only Ginkgo combines ginseng, garlic, and ginkgo. Ginkgo, the only supplement with all three in one.
Welcome to the ultimate winter celebration at Opryland Hotel, our most affordable vacation of the year. Now through March, Opryland Hotel and American Express invite you to stay at the magnificent Opryland Hotel for only $49.50 per person. Relax and enjoy 9 acres of tropical indoor gardens, or create a complete entertainment package with tickets to Opryland USA's most popular attractions. Take advantage of our most affordable vacation this year. Call 1-800-316-1316.
This week on Motor Trend, it's the awesome Super Stallion, the newest project from Ford Special Vehicles Engineering. Plus, a look at the Hurst AMC Scrambler. Motor Trend Television, Saturday at 4 on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back. We are live. Pennzoil World of Outlaws, the Silver State Shootout in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, yesterday afternoon, Dusty Rhodes and his tour bus headed east, probably with an escort from the Nevada Highway Patrol to make sure he didn't make a U-turn. But he did one really good thing before he left. He left us, Pamela Van Doren. A little chilly out there, girl?
Oh, it is freezing. Well, it's not as bad as Mercer, let me just tell you that. It's not too bad at all. Now, this is the most exciting race to me. I love these sprint cars. Oh, God, you know, Las Vegas is known to be the entertainment capital of the world, but what people don't realize is that 9 minutes off the strip is a Disneyland of motorsports. And tonight, of course, is the sprint car races, one of my favorites. You know, these little babies, they are bad boys. I mean, 800 horsepower, over 800 horsepower, and I don't know much about racing, but I can tell you this. That's a lot of ponies. You know what I'm saying, Bobby? You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, Pamela.
They are ripping.
And the fastest of all those cars is the one that we're going to get a look at right now, looking different for the 1998 season, the Wirtgen number 5M, which is wheeled by Mark Kinser and tuned by his father, Carl. And Mark, you've had the opportunity now to race this car last weekend at Manzanita Speedway. Quick time already tonight. What's it like to sit behind the wheel of this machine that looks so much different than the other cars?
Well, this hood design actually was founded, I guess, by Jeff Swindell, and my father took that idea and always takes it a step or two farther. And you know, actually setting in the cockpit, it cleans up the air quite a bit. Early in qualifying, it was pretty dusty, and we didn't really have to fight those elements, you know. So it's definitely doing its job.
All right. Well, good luck to you tonight, Mark.
Thanks.
We'll get a closer look at this car a little bit later on in Motor Madness, and some interesting things have already happened in qualifying. Mark Kinser's quick, but there are some surprises. The heat races are coming up next on Motor Madness.
At Pennzoil, we know brutal driving doesn't just take place on a racetrack. It begins at the end of your driveway. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. If this reminds you of your commute, we recommend you use Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving.
Morning, Bob. Morning, Henry.
Stop, go, Pennzoil.
As you may have read on the internet, independent brewmasters and beer experts conducted a tasting of just about every major beer in the country. For 4 months, they sampled ice and regular beers for character, flavor, and overall quality. In the end, the judges named one beer the best tasting beer in America. Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best tasting beer, now you know exactly what to ask your server for. Old Milwaukee.
It's out there waiting. And in all our years of experience, we've learned one thing. You're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With upfront pricing at Midas, we first perform a 45-point inspection to find what repairs are needed and what can wait, so you only pay what we quote you. Come into Midas today, because you never know what you might run into next.
Us grown-up girls know exactly what we want. Of course, we're so much smarter. And
Pennzoil World of Outlaws Silver State Shootout is brought to you by Pennzoil. Formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil. And by Old Milwaukee, America's best tasting beer. Welcome back to Las Vegas. The sun's starting to settle here in the west, and we're getting the first heat race cars out onto the racetrack. And as Bobby mentioned earlier, there were a couple of surprises in qualifying, and one, Bobby, comes from our old hometown area.
That's right. His name is Brent Kading, who was just rolling up just in time on his four-wheeler. Didn't even know that we were ready to talk to him, but he did have one heck of a qualifying effort and is going to be sitting very nicely in this show. BK, tell me about your lap, and did you surprise yourself a little?
Well, a little bit, Bobby. Billy told me the car was pretty good in hot laps, and it felt pretty nice. Made quite a few changes, and my son Bud gave me a little idea on a line to ride around the racetrack that he'd been watching, and everything worked out real well. But the heat races are going to be tough. Inverting 6, only taking 4. It's a one-groove racetrack, so it'll be interesting. See what happens.
Now, I remember last year at Las Vegas, pizza was the key to making you go fast. Did you bring the pizza in tonight? You haven't flown in?
They're not here yet. We had some pizza before we left, and I think that got us our time. We might have to fly some in for the feature or hopefully the dash.
All right, good luck to you, BK.
Thank you.
Brent Kading, 10 times the King of California.
Hey, that's got to be a little bit shocking for Brent when his son tells him about a line, huh? The King of California being told by his kid, which is a quick way around Las Vegas.
That caught me off a little bit, too. And, it's one of those things, that another set of eyes to watch the racetrack, it really comes in handy.
All right, let's take a look at the Heat 1 lineup. Here it is. Lance Blevins and Dion Hindy will make up row number 1. Greg Hodnett and Randy Hannigan on row number 2. Johnny Herrera and Mark Kinser in row 3. Kevin Pilon out of Santa Cruz, California on the inside of row 4 alongside of Danny Wood. David Fowler and Danny Jennings making up row 5, and Bork and Hikes on the back end of this one in row 6. Bud Kading, by the way, he's got an opportunity for an IRL ride with Bob Dorcott, or an Indy Lights ride, I should say. An Indy Lights ride coming up this year.
We heard Kading say this was a one-groove racetrack. Is it going to stay that way, or will it widen out?
It'll definitely widen out, Steve, as it goes on. Whether it gets rubber down, which we've talked about before, that just means that the abrasion in the racetrack burns away the tire rubber and it sticks to the racetrack. It makes the racetrack sticky. That won't happen until later on as the more races they get on it. But right now it is critical to get a good start and get to the front as soon as possible.
8 laps, 5 heats, 4 cars, top 4 cars transferring right out of these 5 heats straight to tonight's A main. If you don't transfer out of the A main, you go either to the C or the B, and you got a long night ahead of you working your way into that A main.
Yeah, from the back, it's very critical to get to the front early, and if you start in the back, everybody's banging around trying to get up there. So obviously everybody wants to get to the front.
Of course, we'll have the channel lock dash as well. 5 laps to determine the starting order of the A main, and there you see the length of the C, the B, and of course a 30-lap A main here tonight.
Of course, the quickest car in this first heat is starting outside the 3rd row. That would be Mark Kinser, because they invert 6. And Kinser and his dad, Carl, told me they don't expect to learn too much from the radical design of this car on this racetrack tonight. They need a real tight, fast racetrack to find out if the aerodynamics really perform.
Here we go, the start of the first heat race. Blevins with the jump down into turn number 1, and here comes Hodnett up on the inside to take second place away as the rest of the pack makes its way through 1 and 2.
Yeah, you heard Mark Kinser talking about that hood, Steve. Cleaning up the air, it just keeps a lot of this stuff from blowing up in his face, too. It actually wraps around the side of the hood and blows off the side and not up into the driver's face.
You're watching our leader, Lance Blevins and Greg Hodnett in the vibrant yellow number 11. Behind him, it's Dion Hindy in 3rd, then Johnny Herrera in 4th, and Mark Kinser trying to catch him. That's the fight for the final transfer.
And Johnny messed up just a little bit entering turn 3 and slid up, and Mark hit the infield berm and pushed the front end and couldn't take advantage of it.
For Lance Blevins, that 21 car is a brand new chassis. He needed one after last week's crash at Manzanita. It was destroyed. You don't have to crash very hard these days, Brad, to destroy a car.
No, they're so lightweight. The frames, for 1999, they have a wall thickness on the tubing and things, and a lot of the guys have gone to that already. But yeah, they are so lightweight, they don't take much of a hit.
That is the 18 car of Dion Hindy, that white and red numeral number 18, and right behind him, Johnny Herrera, the white and blue number 47. Now we're back up front with the leaders. That's Blevins in the 21, and look at the yellow and blue vibrant car of Hodnett really coming on strong.
Blevins, his new up front phone card The sponsor is here. This is his first sprint car race he's ever seen, so obviously Lentz wants to do well. We talked about Dion Hendy back there in the 18. The Samstown Casino's right here, so here's our battle for the transfer spot between Mark Kinser in the 5 and Johnny Herrera in the 47.
And Randy Hannigan in that black number 1 right behind Mark Kinser, trying to get into the show as well. Kevin Pilot runs behind him. Working our way through this first heat.
There you see Mark coming out of turn 4. He caught Johnny.
Boy, now we got a 3-car fight for that position. This is a fight for third. Now, do you see Mark just spin the wheels and drop way back? There's your leader. Taking the white flag is Lance Blevins. And Greg Hodnett will have one more shot at it. Remember, the top 4 cars will transfer. Boy, Blevins doing a great job of securing that next payment from the new sponsor, isn't he?
Yeah, and Hodnett's not going to try anything, to win this thing. Not going to be a hero. He's just going to finish.
Oh, look out for the lapper. Look out for the 56 of Hikes. They get around him. Here's their first 2, and here's the fight for the transfer. Those 2 will go on. 3rd and 4th will be Hendy, and 4th position will be Herrera. That means that Mark Kinser
has to run the B main.
Yes, sir.
To get into the field.
The quickest car in the place. What a show that will be, watching Mark Kinser.
We said it was a great equalizer.
Absolutely, and this could happen more and more as the heat races go, too, and put some of these fast guys in the back of the A main. Well, they'll get their time back, depending on where they qualified, but they got a long night ahead of them.
Yes, they do, Dave Reeve.
Ralph Shaheen, another guy in a tough position is Dale Blaney, the 7th quick qualified car, who'll start in that 3rd row again. He's got to get up inside the top 4 to move on to tonight's A-main. Dale, you haven't even got a chance to go up there and look at that racetrack other than hot laps. What kind of things go through your mind on a tough old racetrack like this tonight?
Well, you just kind of got to get a good start and get down the bottom and, get a good position. But, passing's going to be tough, and we're just going to have to see if we can move up.
Bottom may be the only line out here, guys, right now, and that's going to favor him a little bit to move up in the second heat.
All right, Dave, thanks. We'll keep our eyes open for brother Dave Blaney, who's qualifying his push car next door for the Busch race on Saturday. Stay with us. Heat number 2 coming up when we come back.
Your room, Grammy, and there's the phone. Feel free.
But your phone bill.
Oh, don't be silly. Just dial 10321 first.
Why?
It saves me money.
Well, maybe a few quick calls.
Good. 10321 saves on quick calls.
I won't talk long.
Oh, talk all you want. It saves 50% off calls over 20 minutes.
I won't call far.
Call anywhere. International rates are great, too. Just dial 10321, then the number as usual. Anything else?
Privacy would be nice.
Love lobster? Dive into Lobster Fest at Red Lobster with the lowest Lobster Fest prices in 6 years. Delicious appetizers like lobster pizza, mouth-watering double stuffed lobster, plus all your favorites. So come on, get cracking. You don't want to miss Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
I'm a runner. I run a restaurant. I run early. I run late. I run into friends. And when I eat, it's on the run.
V8 isn't just juice. It's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
Chances are it will outlast your car and your furnace and your roof. There's no telling what your Moen faucet might outlast. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
Hey, 2 Cadbury bunnies, 2 Cadbury eggs, classic cream and creamy caramel. No bunny knows Easter better than Cadbury's.
Steve Kinser, the king of the Outlaws, is considered the greatest driver in sprint car racing history. In 1994, Kinser captured a record 14th championship. In 1987, he set a World of Outlaws record, winning 46 of 69 A features. These are just a few in a long list of the King's records, which he is still compiling. Well, Brad, you raced against Steve Kinser. What made him so tough?
Well, in that 1987 he's talking about, I finished second everything in that year to Steve Kinser, points, money, and everything. The main thing is he doesn't quit until the checkered flag. I mean, you can count him out. he'll figure out a way to win the race.
And these race fans won't quit either. They're coming over from the big track to the half-mile dirt here to watch the sprint car races, Bobby Jarrow.
And see Lance Blevins win heat race number 1 aboard car number 21. And Lance, congratulations to you. Sponsors here tonight, so you're keeping them happy.
Oh, yeah. Got the new sponsor here at the race, and hope we can give him a good show, getting the car up front where he's wanting it to be.
How's the racetrack?
The racetrack, it's going to be tough. It's one lane on the bottom, a little bit just a little bit of rubber on the bottom. It's going to be a hard race. The man on the pole can win the race tonight.
And as Steve Evans alluded to, that new chassis working very well for Blevins. Dave Reef?
Bobby, one of the things we're going to be keeping our eyes on a lot tonight is tire wear. You've already heard us talk a little bit about it. It's a very abrasive racetrack. This is Dion Hindy's tire, who finished 3rd, is qualified for the A-Main. It's a 25C. It's a middle of the road, but you can see it's very heavily abused. This tire rather, is going to come right off. They're going to put a brand new one on there for the A-Main tonight. Dion's going to do all he can to look for a harder compound tire, but there aren't too many 62s in the pits tonight, so maybe a 40. Otherwise, he's just stuck with a 25C.
Wow, that's going to be rough because that was only 8 laps. Remember, the A-Main is 30. Here is heat number 2 now rolling out, so let's give you the grid lineup for this one. Sid Blanford on the inside of row number 1 alongside of Stevie Smith, Donny Schatz, and Tyler Walker, 2 of the young stars in row number 2. Dale Blaney and the King of California, Brent Cady, making up row 3. Donny Schatz and Gary Wright in row number 4. Billy Wilburn from Rusty Wallace's Winston Cup crew in the OW, Brian Coelho from middle of California, and Doug Jenkins and Ron Cox in row number 6. Stevie Smith, who holds the 1-lap record here at a 14.34, is carrying the onboard camera in his Ingersoll Rand car, and you can be sure the way Stevie runs here that he will give us some great shots with our Jet Hot onboard camera.
And that is the same home-built car that he fielded when we were here in the fall. And I'll tell you what, I thought for a moment he was going to win this race. Jeff Swindell ultimately did. But Stevie Smith and his dad out of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Posse, they have built a one-off chassis that suits his style.
Well, it's the same design. It is a new chassis, but it's the same design as last year. They've refined just a few points, but they liked what they had, as you said, Steve, last year, and they stuck with that.
No doubt in my mind he can challenge for the championship this year. We're coming to the green, but I think this one might get waved off. That was kind of a ragged start. Let's see.
Nope.
Yep, there they go. Yellow's flashing down. Oh, and we still stack them up down in 1 and 2. Donny Schatz, Dale Blaney getting together a little bit.
Well, remember, for the folks at home, they'll go ahead and throw the green and then put the yellow lights on, because if they don't throw the green coming off of the start, the guys up front can see the flag and the guys in the back can't, and they will stack them up.
Well, Mark Kinser's got to go to the B, Bobby.
Yes, he does. And we talked a lot at the top of the show about this racetrack being an equalizing racetrack, and a sure sign of it right there when Mark Kinser doesn't transfer through the heat race. How tough was it for you out there, Mark?
Well, the working car was performing pretty good. You know, we just a couple of holes, they opened up, but I just couldn't close the gap. You know, that's part of the race. You know, we're making some changes on the car right now, and the guys are working hard, and I'm sure my family back home in Owattica didn't like that as much as we did.
Well, there's still plenty of time for Mark Kinser, Ralph. He'll be in the B.
And I think, Ralph, he is remembering that the last time we were here, this race was won out of the B feature by Jeff Swindell.
Yes, it absolutely was. Oh, look at this. We're going to crash them coming to the line. Billy Wilbur, Rusty Wallace's Winston Cup crew in one of those, and the 0 with the meat on the side. That's Gary Wright in the 9. And the 4 car, Doug Jenkins, all the way from Fairbanks, Alaska. Talk about your long toes. There's Jenkins in the green car and Gary Wright crawling out. And Wilbur rolled on. Now let's take a look at this again. This Wilbur in the 0 with the meat on it.
That's Jenkins in the 4 right behind. Probably.
Looked like is that Coelho? Coelho in the 5C.
Plus the Alaska in the 4 car, he just rolled right back up on top of the 9.
Well, what's happening is everybody's wanting to get to the bottom of the racetrack. If you watch the right side of the screen.
Oh, yeah. The 9, Gary Wright.
Gary Wright just got to the right, trying to squeeze to get on the bottom of the racetrack, knowing that if they're stuck out in the marbles, you lose all kinds of ground.
Was that Dennis Moore that he got into there, the 1S? I think so. Gary Wright, who has dominated the NCRA Tour for so many years. Struggling here tonight. Well, it's going to take us a little while to get these 2 cars off in the turn 3 area. So we'll take care of some more business so we can show you some more green flag racing the way you and all of us here in the booth like it.
Ooh, ugly dirt, but I know who to call. The guy with all the muscle, he can do it all. Mr. Clean.
on tough, greasy dirt. Mr. Clean beats that other cleaner. He makes it easy. So cleaning is a snap.
Ultra clean. We power through the work and it's easier to do it. Me and the big guy, nothing to it. Mr. Clean.
He's tougher on dirt, easier on you.
Dogs have an uncanny sense of hearing, but they can't tell you if running, climbing, or even walking hurts or makes them stiff. So it's up to you. To help keep your dog active and healthy, ask your veterinarian how Rimadyl has relieved arthritis pain for more than 500,000 dogs. As with other pain relievers in this class, digestive and liver side effects may occur. Available by prescription only.
Off out of turn number 3 over there, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws Silver State Shootout. First live race in this 20th anniversary season of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws here on TNN. We're hoping you're enjoying our coverage. We got a lot of great racing for you this season. As Gary Wright comes off, he'll have to wait till the next race, which is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Long tow, Brad.
Yeah, from one extreme to the other. Be down there in a couple weeks.
We can all go over to Dusty Rhodes' house.
Yeah.
That payback.
He would like that. Dusty would love to entertain everybody over here.
And all of you at home as well.
There's Stevie Smith, our jet hot onboard camera, showing you the look down. What's he thinking about, Brad? What are you trying to do?
Well, he's starting on the outside of the front row. He probably knows he probably won't get the jump off of Sid Blanford, so he's going to try to just get to the bottom, tuck in behind him, and get to the bottom of the racetrack going into turn 1.
After seeing what happened to Mark Kinser, if you're Stevie Smith and you're locked into second, are you going to push on Blanford real hard, or are you just going to ride it into second and get into the A main?
If he's smarter, just ride it in second and get in the A main. And again, you know, from the outside, it's a little dusty up there. When the momentum's slow like it is, Sid Blanford there on the pole should get the jump.
And tailing this field is that 4-car Doug Jenkins from Fairbanks, Alaska. And yes, there is an oval track in Fairbanks, Alaska, and the surface is primarily volcanic ash. There's only one track. The closest one other than that is in Edmonton, which is about an 8-hour drive. You got to really want to do this in Alaska.
25C, good on volcanic ash?
I never ran on volcanic ash.
Probably the only thing you never ran on, right?
Ran on an oil track one time. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Here we come to the green flag. Heat number 2 with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws underway.
Again, you saw Sid Blanford get the jump.
Stevie Smith fell back to third now. Donny Schatz comes up into second and Kading up to fourth. You're on board with Stevie Smith and a side-by-side fight for the lead in front of you. Schatz on the bottom, the blue and yellow 15. Blanford up top.
Schatz should have it come out forward. Yeah, Blanford got up there, got right there up in the marbles and just spun the tires.
No cushion to work with tonight, huh?
No, there's no cushion, nothing to lean on up there.
Stevie Smith, there's a black 19. Here he comes. He's in third.
Again, Blanford keeps sliding up just a little bit. You see Stevie duck underneath him, going into 3. If Blanford slides high again, as he did, he's way up there.
Brent Kading has the final transfer spot. Dale Blaney and Tyler Walker running 5th and 6th. Those two as the yellow comes out. We got Billy Wilburn around over in turn number 4. There's Billy. Was working on Rusty's Winston Cup car next door over at the big track, where Dale Jarrett has claimed the pole, we hear. And then Rusty let him go a little bit early so he could run his sprint car over to here, get himself all ready to go racing tonight. The guys at Brent Kading's crew, good friends with Billy, so they helped him get his car in shape and ready to go racing since he didn't have many crew guys with him.
Is that Billy Wilburn there? Yeah.
That's Billy right there.
You know, Donny Schatz is probably going into this heat race with a certain amount of confidence in that 15 car because he was 4th last week at Manzi, and that equals his best ever finish.
Again, off to another start, like Jac Haudenschild commented, just this is his second year on the tour. A lot of these racetracks will be going back to again, and that's very important.
One of the big keys for the title this year, as it is every year with the Outlaws, is consistency. And I think that is the one thing that is going to make the difference if a Stevie Smith or Jac Haudenschild can win the championship this year. They're going to need to do the one thing they haven't done in recent years, and that's consistency all season long, Bobby Gerald.
Ralph, I am sitting next to the man known as Mr. Las Vegas. That's right, Jeff Swindell, who has won 2 of the 3 A-main events at this Speedway. Now, we'll take you back to last year, the final race of the season, and many people will remember this as one of the greatest World of Outlaws races that any of us have ever seen. It was Jeff Swindell taking the lead late in the race and then holding off Andy Hillenburg and his brother and Steve Kinser and everyone to take home that win and do a wing dance. And Jeff, any wing dances tonight, you think?
Well, I don't know. We're going to have our work cut out for us. You must be tired. You come found me doing an interview, so you come over here and sit down on the four-wheeler, I think. But it's going to be real tough to pass tonight. You know, even to get in to the event starting on the 3rd row is tough. You know, I guess Mark missed it a while ago. You know, and Mark don't ever miss, you know. So it's going to be real tough. The track, you know, the sun and the wind and everything the way it was today, the track's just terrible.
All right, we're going racing. We'll let Jeff watch him as Ralph calls him.
Thank you, Bobby, and we'll do that as Donny Schatz leads him to the cone. It's Schatz, Blanford, Stevie Smith, Brent Kading, the top 4. Dale Blaney 1 spot out of a transfer, and Tyler Walker behind him. Boy, Schatz with a big lead now as you look at Brent Kading in the 2 car trying to catch the 19 of Stevie Smith.
Brent Kading running McCreary tires, and generally McCreary tires on a racetrack like this seem to like a little better. Goodyear has come out with a tire that they think will equal the McCreary on certain racetracks, and this could possibly one of them. As Sid Blanford is going to slide high. Stevie goes to the bottom. That's into turn 3.
That puts him to 2nd.
Yeah, Sid Blanford there in the 31 having a hard time keeping it on the bottom of the racetrack.
You could hear it in Jeff Swindell's voice in that interview with Bobby Gerald. Mark Kinser not transferring was a wake-up call for all of these teams that have big power.
That's why Brent Kading is the king of California. Did you see him get up on the inside berm, save it, and get around Blanford for 3rd? Blanford out of Vail, Colorado, is on the bubble now, and here comes Dale Blaney in the Amoco car.
If Sid keeps sliding up there, Dale Blaney's going to get under him and get the last and final transfer spot with Tyler Walker right behind. Again, Sid Blanford just having trouble keeping his car tight on the bottom of the racetrack. Again, he's going to up high. Dale Blaney's got the run. Yep. Dale's got
Sid Blanford hasn't made a World of Outlaw A-main since Denver 1995, and he's going to have to go through the feed and get there tonight.
We're back up front.
That's our leader, Donny Schatz, and you're coming on board with Smith.
Look at this. Look at the left front wheel up on the end. That's how important it is to stay tight on the bottom. Again, I've commented before, the driver can't see the front tires. It's just all feel. It's kind of like getting used to your family car at home. You know where the bumper is when you pull in the garage and things like that. He's just feeling his way around the racetrack. The problem, they get too low and the left front hits that and it bounces the car up and out.
Checkered flag. Donny Schatz your winner. Stevie Smith takes 2nd. Brent Kading gets 3rd. Dale Blaney gets 4th. He's going on to the A-main. Sid Blanford will go 5th. Tyler Walker goes 6th. They're going on to the B. Donny Schatz will take the heat number 2 victory. A nice bit of driving by Donny Schatz tonight as he goes straight to the A-main, Dave Reef.
I am down with Andy Hillenburg. Andy Hillenburg, of course, you know, runs on the McCreary tire. McCreary's have always historically been pretty darn good on dry tires. Let's see how Andy feels heading into this next heat race. Cars have always been good on slick tire, on the McCreary's on a slick racetrack. How do you feel going into tonight?
Well, I think we'll be all right. It won't be a tire problem tonight for us because the McCreary's really do well. So I just hope we got the rest of it together.
We will find out just how good those McCreary's do here as Andy will start outside the 3rd row in our next heat race.
The John Christner Trucking STP Black number 2 getting set to go with heat number 3. We'll be right back to Las Vegas right after this.
Look what Daddy gets. Looks good, huh? You eat those peas. This is Daddy's.
When you make a Spamburger hamburger,
Ain't all mine.
watch out.
Perfect.
Because the premium pork and ham, spiced to perfection, makes Spam so good, it's gone. Spam, so good, it's gone.
Well, Joey's already reading. Watch.
Crispy chicken nuggets.
Watch this. How many nuggets in 2 packs?
10.
Watch this.
No, that's one smart kid.
Wendy's 99-cent nuggets, the best bet in chicken.
You know, this new Maxwell House decaf is good.
That's going to be a problem. See, if decaf tastes this good, people are going to think we brought them the wrong stuff.
I never thought of that.
Experience Country.com, your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to TNN and CMT with music bits and video clips. Country.com, your personal source for all things country.
Live from New York.
It's Saturday night.
It's the best of Saturday Night Live home video collection, only from Time Life Video.
I feel so sexy.
Now you can own the best of each season, starting with 1993.
Wow.
Call this number now and laugh at 93's funniest skits and characters for the special price of only $9.99.
Yes.
Order by credit card now and receive the Wayne's World Special video free, featuring classic moments with Wayne and Garth.
No way.
Then every month, preview over an hour of the very best of each year. Wake up, babe.
It's making me mental.
Wouldn't be prudent. Some man making coffee. Relive Saturday Night Live at its best.
And that's okay.
Call now.
That's the ticket.
Call 1-800-832-0909 to order Saturday Night Live for only $9.99. Use your credit card and receive your free Wayne's World Special. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
Huge crowd on hand here for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Happy 50th birthday to you, Bill, wherever you are. As the Pennzoil World of Outlaws have made it to Las Vegas for the Silver State Shootout. And they are loving it here at Las Vegas, Bobby.
Please. And Ralph, we actually saw Donny Schatz doing some passing in that last heat race, starting on the inside of the second row and jumping up to the front. We'll take a look at the tires here. This was a 25C. This is a middle-of-the-road Goodyear, and as you can see, it was worn down pretty good during that 8-lap heat race. But, Donny, is that your biggest concern out here tonight?
Yeah, right now it is. This thing's really eating up tires, and that's the hardest tire we got. So I don't know if we're going to be able to make 20 laps in the main unless I come up with some tires somewhere, so we'll just see what happens.
Now, that is a bad news scenario because there is a 40 and a 62 Goodyear, and the Schatz team has neither one of those, Dave Reef.
Bobby Stevie Smith started second, finished second, but you had to do it from third. You were able to find something out there and move up a position.
Well, we started on the outside, and ideally that's not the place to start right now. The bottom of the track's a little bit faster, so I tucked in behind the first two guys and just raced myself back into second.
And he got himself a transfer spot. Remember this guy's, he was a hard charger from late last year and was doing pretty good Manzanita before falling out.
All right, well, let's see what the lineup is going to be like now for heat number 3. Rick Zeal in that purple 18Z and John Bankston in row number 1. Terry McCarl, who says it's warmer in Iowa than it is here today. And Todd Bamer, Peter Murphy, and Andy Hillenburg in the 0 and the 2. Jason Lund and Larry Neighbors in row number 4. Shauna Wilski in the 5. Shane Travioli in the 11V. Greg Weiss and Lucchese in the 10.
Brad Dudley, let me ask you something. The wing on these cars, that huge top wing, is cockpit adjustable. It's on hydraulic rails. Where do you want that wing, and do you adjust it during the course of just an 8-lap race?
Oh, absolutely. You know, if you start out and you're a little bit loose, which means your tires spin, you move it back. You always start pulling it back. And, yeah, absolutely in an 8-lap heat race, because it's all a guessing game on your chassis setup. And if you miss a little bit, you can always compensate, although there are some teams doing away with the slider wing.
For weight?
For weight. So,
you know, speaking of that, we talked to Steve Kinser earlier today, and he says, Steve, that he wants to see a weight rule. In fact, he even agreed, being the heavy guy, he took his advantage out of it. He said, weigh him with the driver in the car. That's fine with me.
And his point is...
Or driver out of the car, I should say.
It is costing him, and he figures everybody else that wants to do what he's doing, over $75,000 a season to keep these cars light. And they're ever shrinking. They're talking about being under 1,200 pounds.
Under 1,100 pounds for Knoxville.
And we're talking about unobtainium parts, baby. I mean, they're expensive.
Here we come to the green with Rick Zeal's purple 18 leading up. Oh, he's going to lose it. Stacks them all up. Unbelievable. In turn number 4, Andy Hillenburg dives to the inside. We saw the purple 18 of Rick Zeal out of that whole pack. 5 cars got out of it. In fact, Hillenburg damaged his front wing, so 4 got out of it.
Why is Hillenburg spending donuts in the infield? He had
no. What happened was he could. I don't think what happened. He couldn't steer it.
Couldn't get out of gear.
He didn't want to stop there because he's considered involved in the crash. If he could have kept going, he could have got his spot back and started up front.
Jason Lund in the 8L is in that. Larry Neighbors in the 29. Shauna Wilski in the 5 is involved. Of course, Rick Zeal is in the middle of that. Let's take a look at this
Rick
again.
Zeal with the purple car right there on the left of your screen. He gets on the throttle hard, loses control, gets sideways, right in front of everybody. Nothing to do.
Terry McCarl's 24. The 0 car of Peter Murphy. He goes up and over.
Zeal's over. And Andy Hillenburg clipped and lost his steering. He went down in the infield. We're going to get another look at it. Right there again, Rick Zeal sideways in front of everybody's on the throttle. Nothing they can do but up and over.
The only good thing, and I say that reservedly, is that this was not a high-speed crash. It was fairly low speed, so the cars aren't that badly damaged, and apparently no one is hurt.
There goes Hillenburg with the broken steering up and over and into the infield.
Everyone saw what happened there.
You're just so committed on the start of a race when you're packed in like this. There's not a thing you can do in an open wheel race.
Look at Murphy. I mean, he just saw it coming, and he on the brakes, and where are you going to go?
See, and what happened there, see the dirt piled up on the infield berm. When he came down, he got straddled sideways, and the left side frame rail dug in and turned him over. And
there's Andy Hillenburg's black number 2 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Frustration. His torn up race car is not even yet to go racing.
This is Mission Control. We have a rotational shutdown. Copy?
Houston, you have a problem. Stand by.
When you need a grip on life's little challenges, get a grip on Channel Lock.
This is Mission Control. Thanks, guys. Nice pliers.
Independent rear suspension, dual shocks, and a sway bar. Rick, it's all there.
That's good, because when things get rough out there, the suspension is everything.
The Sportsman by Polaris is the best-performing, best-riding ATV you can buy. Here's why. Other manufacturers use a straight axle that bounces over obstacles, losing traction. Our independent rear suspension hugs the terrain for better traction and a smoother ride. The Sportsman 500 and the all-new Sportsman 335 with shaft drive.
You gotta ride it to believe it.
You're invited to Springfield, Missouri for the 1998 World's Fishing Fair, March 25th through the 29th, featuring top fishing pros and free seminars, all at Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World, Missouri's #1 attraction. While you're here, visit Fantastic Caverns, America's only ride-through cave. It's all in Springfield, Ozark Mountain Country's big city, just 30 minutes from Branson. Call now for your free Springfield travel kit.
Rusty, it's a woodchuck, and he's hurt. Rusty, it's up to you.
Motor Madness, brought to you by Rogaine, the only product medically proven to regrow hair for men and women, and by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time.
There is the damaged sprint car of Peter Murphy out of Sydney, Australia, that was involved in this multi-car incident over in turn number 4 as we came to the green flag of heat number 3. And there is Rick Zeal's car, which has been upside down 2 weeks in a row, Dave Reeve.
I'm down with Andy Hillenburg, and you can see the obvious damage: bent front axle, steering arm, a crushed front wing. And to be quite honest, Andy Hillenburg's biggest problem right now is he's trying to get somebody over here to push his car in. He thinks there's a possibility they can get this car fixed. What happened from your perspective? You didn't even make the first corner.
I don't know. It looked like a 24 car got into somebody and turned them around, and everybody piled out. So I really couldn't see. The dust was pretty bad, but I don't know. Trying to get this thing to the pit so we can get it fixed right now.
Like I said, his biggest problem is he thinks he can get this car fixed, Bobby Gerald. It's just a bunch of pieces that they can replace really easy.
And let me update you on Jason Lund, who had a flat left rear tire. He thought that was the only thing that would keep him out. We're with Rick Zeal, and Rick, it all started there at the front of the field. Looked like the back end broke loose. Did you have any help?
I broke loose, and I might have had a little help. It's hard to tell the way this racetrack is. It's real slick tonight.
How bad's the damage to your machine?
A lot of bolt-on stuff. Hopefully there's no frame damage. We'll get it in the pits and find out.
All right, we also talked with Peter Murphy. He was hoping that it was just damage to the two top wings. We're sorry to see you out, Rick. I know it's getting a little heavy on the pocketbook here in the last 2 weeks.
It has been 2 bad weeks in a row.
All right, better luck next time.
Thanks.
Rick Zill, he's a pretty nice guy down here and is able to muster a smile after a really bad run of luck here for 2 weeks. Brad, you ever have that happen to you 2 weeks in a row or maybe even 2 races in a row where you tipped over?
Yeah, I sure have. And boy, I tell you, it's demoralizing for you and the team and everybody. And the team just has to buckle down and work hard.
You know, we saw Rick Zeal and them talking about that incident, and they mentioned the 24 car. That was Terry McCarl. I don't think there was any way Zeal was going to save that. McCarl did go into him, but I don't think he actually helped him.
No. Zeal had already lost control. We've seen it in 3 different angles, and he had got the back end way out too far before Terry McCarl ever got into him.
I'm sure everybody at home has noticed they do not pit the rigs or the race cars in the center of this racetrack in the infield. They are often a big, spacious, well-lit asphalt pit area on the other side of the wall between turn 1 and turn 2. So Andy Hillenburg sitting down there is a long way from his pit and the help he needs to get back into this deal.
Well, you can see right there the four-wheeler, they got a front axle strapped on the front of that four-wheeler and some bolt-on pieces. They're going to try to change what they can right there where they're at.
That is resourceful.
Well, there have been a lot of new changes to the rules for the 1998 Pennzoil World of Outlaw racing season, and earlier we were able to have a good look at the new rules.
Pennzoil World of Outlaw sprint cars haven't changed that much in 1 year. In fact, to look at one of these cars, you'd think there were no changes at all. But indeed there are changes for 1998, 4 major ones I'd like to point out real quick to you now. It all starts here in the front of the car with the front axle. There are 3 thickness variations that you can run now, depending on the diameter of the front axle itself. Moving back, one of the best options, I think, is this nifty little fume deflector. $35 option keeps all the fumes and the fuel from entering the driver's cockpit and starting it on fire. Moving to the back of the car, the rear push bar now needs to be a minimum 1 inch thick with 65 wall tubing. And finally, carbon metallic fiber, the lightweight stuff. You can only run it in a few places: on the brakes, on the wing caps, and finally on these arm guards to keep the driver safe as they're sliding around the corners.
Those are the new rules to the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, and if you think we missed the race from Manzanita, hey, TNN is dedicated to coverage of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. We'll have taped coverage of the CarQuest Cavalcade of Sprints, 1 p.m. Eastern, March 28th. Don't miss it.
Imagine never having to buy a window cleaner again.
Oh, never again?
Introducing the 409 that does windows, too. New improved 409 glass and surface cleaner. It not only cuts through grease and grime, it also cleans windows and mirrors to a streak-free shine.
Hey, as long as I'm buying an all-purpose cleaner, why not get one that does windows, too?
New 409 glass and surface. The 409 that does windows, too.
I may never buy a window cleaner again.
The new Suzuki Quad Runner 500 is a tool. Big bore liquid cooled 4-wheel drive tool. Take it out when you need it. Put it back when you're done.
Unfortunately, these women have an overnight flight and a cough. The woman in first class is taking Robitussin DM, while the woman in coach has discovered Vicks 44. Compare them. Vicks 44 feels more soothing and works longer between doses, up to 8 hours, while Robitussin should be taken every 4. So despite the better seat, guess who's having the better flight? 8-hour Vicks 44. Get the most from just 1 dose.
I'm a runner. I run a restaurant. And when I eat, it's on the run.
V8 isn't just juice, it's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
Got a clog? Get the best clog remover. Is it Liquid Plumber or Drano? Actually, professional strength Liquid Plumber clog remover works twice as fast. Yes, there is a best.
March 15th on TNN Motorsports.
It's more than just speed.
It's bumper to bumper.
It's NASCAR racing.
It's the best motorsports in the world.
It's live Busch Grand National Racing from Nashville Speedway, USA. It's the Bell South Mobility Opryland 320, March 15th, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific on TNN Motorsports.
Get into it.
Three-time and defending World of Outlaws champion Slammin' Sammy Swindell enjoyed his best season last year, taking 11 main event checkered flags. Sammy also ranks second in World of Outlaws history with 210 A-feature wins and is credited with the first clean sweep in series history, winning his heat race, the Vibrant Dash, and the A-Main at Bridgeport Speedway.
Let's go down to Bobby Jarrell with Terry McCall, the driver of the 24 car. How beat up is it, Bobby?
Well, it's not too bad, Steve, and we'll just give you the quick update. Terry has to put his helmet on, and they're about to push McCarl away in the 24 machine. He had damage to the tie rod, and he has some damage on the left side panel. That's all the problems are with car number 24. Dennis Moore Jr. and Randy Hannigan, a couple of drivers down here, were helping put in an all-star pit crew effort to get McCarl backing away, and there he goes.
Well, I have not seen a full moon anywhere around this racetrack tonight, but I'm telling you, it's getting weird. And getting weirder is the fact that the push truck has now lost the left rear tire over in turn 3.
The whole wheel is gone.
It's just gone.
Somebody else lost a wheel today, I guess.
I mean, we're looking right off the main straightaway here, and I do not see a full moon anywhere, but it is, I'm telling you, it has been a weird
It is.
day.
It has. The whole day. It's just been weird that it's gone. So they're going to have to get the wrecker to pick the push truck up as it comes down the back straightaway.
Well, one thing these race cars don't have to worry about, and that's overheating. It's supposed to be in the about 36 degrees.
But what they do have to worry about, though, Brad, is low fuel on these smaller gas tanks.
Yeah, everybody's going to like a 20. It's still 24 to 29, depending on who you talk to, gallons of fuel tank, and it's because of weight. And they've moved it forward on the car. Yeah, imagine that. And I just feel like that's not enough fuel for some of these races.
It won't be such a problem for a heat race, but Steve Kinser was saying it could become a huge problem in a main feature.
Oh yeah, especially on a big high-speed racetrack where you're on the throttle a lot.
You know, as weird as things are tonight, full moon or not, I got to tell you guys, you weren't there in Mercer, Pennsylvania just 2 weeks ago. Some of the most bizarre happenings, even for Motor Madness, took place. And even though Dusty Rhodes has been in Las Vegas, and is still very much on his mind as well.
I tell you what, this is not New York City. This is Las Vegas. Dusty Rhodes, Las Vegas. And I guarantee you, get over here, Pamela. What are you looking at, darling?
It's Las Vegas. I can't pay attention, you know.
I'm telling you.
Distracted all over the place.
We talked about the excitement that went on in Mercy, PA. Everything that went down there. We're going to take a hard, cold look at it. But, you know, after Mercy was over, it was so cold, wasn't it, darling? Was it cold?
Huh?
Was it cold in Mercy? You know, would you pay attention? We got on the buses and everybody left out, okay? And then only a few good dogs were able to run with Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream in their state. One good point is Miss Pamela Van Doren was right there at the end. And the other thing, maybe good or bad, but that old butterscotch just hung in there the whole way. Brought him along with us. Don't know where he is right now.
Did you see that, Elvis? I think that was
Elvis. Where's Elvis?
Just walking away right there.
Is she cute? Is she cute, Elvis?
Wait a minute. I just saw...
Hey, let's go back and take a look at what happened in Mercy, PA.
Well, you're not going to be driving much more now, buddy. Take it away. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See? Now, if you would let me just carry on.
Well, looky here. Yeah, there he is, man. There she is. That's McKinney.
Jay Claude is going to send me to Europe, believe it or not. I thought you guys were coming to going to Europe.
Let me tell you something. I live by a code. You took something from me, and I'm going to get something back. The Bible says an eye for an eye. I want to know what you're going to give me. Right here, right now, we're going to cha-cha.
Oh, yeah, look at there.
You got a quarter in there.
Jesus. Hey, man, I'm holding right now.
Oh, that's okay. Get him out. Get him away from me. That's it. Get him away from me. Hey.
Who's that guy?
Butterscotch, get up here, Butterscotch. Get him back. Hey, get him back from here. Yeah. Get Newsom out of here.
Oh, here we go.
Get Newsom out of here.
What the hell?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Butterscotch taking care of business down there now. Yeah.
Dusty, handle this.
I like that.
And the madness continues on Motor Madness. Dusty's new pal is Butterscotch.
Dusty, you should see the view from up here. Come on up.
I can't get up that, darling. Let me tell you
You should
something.
see the roller coaster from
We've
where
been having so much fun. We just seen the chaos in Mercer, PA, didn't we? Did we not see the chaos there?
Complete chaos.
Oh,
complete,
yeah, but
absolute.
right now, we in Las Vegas. So many things have happened here. And the bottom line is, we can't show it all to you. But I guarantee next week in Naples, Florida, in the swamp, we're going to show you stuff you would not believe happened. But tonight, we're going to show you just a little bit of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because this truly is
madness.
This is madness. Let's go back to the greatest show on dirt.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest show on dirt, Pennzoil World of Outlaws. This is take 2 on heat number 3, or is it take 3 on heat number 2? It's one of those.
Well, we got 11 cars, Brad, for this heat now as we get it started up again. Heat number 3. Remember, 4 cars will transfer out of this. Those that don't have any dings or dents or bent wings like Terry McCarl are going to have a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, those guys just basically threw these things back together, and it's untested until they're going to take the green flag here.
Well, Ted Johnson, the president, founder of the Outlaws, was up here saying, maybe I'll make a rule that if you haven't never started up front, you can't. Well, then how would you ever start up front?
Todd Bammer in the yellow 18 trying to make his first ever World of Outlaws.
Oh,
and he's going to get sideways.
The exact same thing all over again.
Todd.
An absolute instant replay
Larry
of the previous
Neighbors,
incident.
Shauna Wilski, the 29 is Neighbors, the 5 is Wilski, the 18B is Bamer. And that is, I hate to say it, but it's exactly what Ted was afraid of. And that was that Todd Bamer and the 18B was excited. Brad, this is his best shot to make it to an A main. You've been there. You know what it's like. Your first one, he just got a little aggressive.
Sure did. You know, you get on the throttle too hard, he's already sideways there, but the same thing we just saw, cars with no place to go, banging into them.
And those cars wouldn't have had anywhere to go if it was a tacky track or a slick track. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah, there's nothing they could do there at all. Once it already started again, you got another view, the 18 on the left side of your screen. Just, as you said, gets on the throttle too hard. At that point right there, he's out of control. There's nothing he can do.
We saw it unfolding, and you felt helpless.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do about it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And so did all the drivers behind Steve. Saw it starting to happen, and they couldn't do a thing about it.
Well, this heat is going to transfer 4 cars due to process of elimination.
Right there. All the cars behind know they're in trouble. They're going to see what's going to happen, and that's
It's like one of our demolition derbies. The cars that transfer will be the 4 that can still move.
Bankston is going to be one of those because John Bankston keeps surviving this, and they built a new car. Him and Bobby Kraft built a new car after Manzanita last week. Well, we'll be back to try it again. Terry McCarl, bent wing and all, might make it into the A main.
This NASCAR 50th anniversary moment is brought to you by Exide Batteries.
It was a sunny afternoon on June 19, 1949. 33 cars rolled to the green flag at the 3/4-mile dirt Charlotte Motor Speedway for the first officially sanctioned, strictly stock car race.
Power when you need it. Exide Nautilus is a complete range of the finest marine batteries. High power to start the engine, deep cycle batteries to run bait wells, depth sounders, downriggers, and trolling motors, and dual purpose engineered to do both. Exide Nautilus, the brand that means dependability, reliability, and performance. Power when you need it, power you can trust. Look for Exide Nautilus, America's leader in marine batteries.
More than 13,000 fans congregated in Charlotte, North Carolina to watch men like Red Byron, Curtis Turner, Buck Baker, the Flock brothers, and the leading women's driver in the country, Sarah Christian, stir up some dust for 200 laps in Hudsons, Fords, Cadillacs, Buicks, and several other makes of automobiles. The drivers slugged it out right down to the checkered flag, with Glenn Dunaway crossing the line first. Dunaway was later disqualified for using illegal springs in his car. The $2,000 first place money went to Jim Roper, with Fonty Flock second and Red Byron third.
As you may have read on the internet, independent brewmasters and beer experts conducted a tasting of just about every major beer in the country. For 4 months, they sampled ice and regular beers for character, flavor, and overall quality. In the end, the judges named one beer the best tasting beer in America. Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best tasting beer, now you know exactly what to ask your server for. Old Milwaukee.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, where the Pennzoil World of Outlaws are still trying to get heat number 3 underway. And we have got, take a look at the 0 car, Peter Murphy. Now look at the wing angle on that. That's not the way it's supposed to be, Brad.
No, it's not. They, again, had to hurry up and throw this car back together, and maybe the front struts weren't as long as they should be, and or something has slipped. But no, that is not the way it should be.
Green flag, I hope. Gotten through turn 4 and taken the green, so that's a big step. 4 cars. Thankston in the 8 car is your leader. Murphy with the wing down in front of him is 1 spot out of a transfer, if you can believe that. How is he seeing, Brad?
Well, it hits down there. Oh, we got a Shauna Wilski.
Shauna Wilski around. We stay green for now. She's off in turn 4. We're staying green.
Staying green. There's John Banks, and that's out of turn 4.
Banks is your leader. Terry McCarl runs in second. Andy Hillenburg is in third. And the 8L of Jason Lund out of Selma, California, runs in fourth. Now the yellow is out because of Shauna Wilski.
The girl from the Great Northwest, the only lady out here competing.
Oh, she got some help.
Oh, yes,
she got some help. Got turned around the 17, booted her, and
that's Greg Weiss out of Petaluma, California, one of the NARC competitors. Looked like, do you think maybe she lifted because she saw the car in front of her, that green car?
It was hard to say. Maybe she was just trying to be easy on the pedal, like I talked about in the opener. She didn't want to squeeze the throttle too hard and got turned around from behind.
Dave Reef?
Guys, we're sitting down here patiently waiting as we get set for the next heat race. Danny Lasowski, one of those guys, been strapped in quite a while. Got off to a very good start this year. 3 straight wins down in Volusia County, but since then has had a hard time getting a monkey off his back. Danny, hopefully, if we ever get you out on the racetrack, this could be the night that gets you over that hump.
You know, we sure hope so. So far, so good. We're 4th quick, and the race car feels really good. Now it's my job to keep it out of trouble.
Top 5 qualifying times both nights of the Outlaws. You're doing really well, so it seems.
Well, the B-Packer team's got a good bunch of guys with us, and we think we got a good car for them tonight.
Danny's just patiently waiting. Ralph, you know him real well. He's just beating on the steering wheel, chomping at the bit, trying to get out there.
Yeah, Lasowski doesn't do anything patiently. In fact, he only got 10 laps of green flag racing on a new race car last week at Manzanita, and it crashed. Now, I still can't figure this.
Well, from this angle, you can see he can.
Just barely?
Well, in a sprint car, you've got about a 5 or 6 inch view over the top of the hood. So the wing right at this point isn't down there where it's blocking any vision yet.
At that jockey angle, though, he's going to get plenty of downforce, I'll tell you that.
We got Terry McCarl almost looping it, but the 10 car does loop it. We're going to go yellow again. Terry McCarl almost lost it in turn 4 on the restart, and the 10 of Derek Lucchese does spin around over in turn number 4.
There weren't this many spins in the Olympic figure skating competition.
Good one, Evans. I like that. Watch this. There's Lucchese.
This is the trouble spot up here in turn 4.
Yep.
Everything that has happened has been in turn 4.
I think there's a gravity fault.
Yeah, but now we didn't see these problems in the other heats.
No, I'm not. Yeah, it's not the racetrack. It's just it just happens to be the same corner for some reason.
So Lucchese, who comes out of Sonoma, California.
Do you find it kind of odd to see the Hillenburg car without those traditional STP colors, huh?
Yeah, I mean, years ago he used to run the black, and then he went to the white STP
two-car we're talking
colors.
about.
Yeah, and now he's back to the black. Bobby Gerald.
Andy Hillenburg in that black number 2, and sitting right behind him in car number 8L is Jason Lund, another one of the drivers who comes out of the Northern California ranks. And this is a guy who doesn't get a lot of ink, Ralph, Brad, and Steve, but is a pretty good racer. He has amassed 4 career Northern Auto Racing Club wins, and he's won those 4 races at 4 different racetracks. So he shows a little versatility, and right now he's in a position to put himself into tonight's feature event.
And Bobby, he finished 6th here in an ARC race last year. So you're right, Jason Lund, a real good shoe up out in Northern California.
Terry McCarl, for his winter vacation, went down to Australia for the first time and had an absolute ball, and found out those boys come to race. But they are tough down there. Here we go. Cross your fingers at home, everybody. No more of that.
Bankston, McCarl, Hillenburg, and Lund. Hillenburg inside of McCarl takes over 2nd. Remember, 4 transfer, that would mean that Lund right now will get a shot to the A main as he gets inside of McCarl.
Into turn 3. McCarl got high coming out of turn 4, spun the tires and slid up enough that Lund got underneath of him.
The A main ultimately may look more like the B main.
There's Peter Murphy from Australia right behind McCarl, who you just spoke of, Steve, raced in Australia. So they did some wheel banging and racing down there through the winter.
Terry McCarl now with Peter Murphy. If Murphy makes the A main, this is going to be spectacular. Inside of McCarl, with that wing hanging down over him, he is 1 spot out of the A main. Can he do it? Meanwhile, Andy Hillenburg in that black number 2 all over Bankston. Bankston, the 1994 Beaumont, Texas champion. And look at McCarl riding the berm.
And Andy Hillenburg, if you notice, his front wing is missing. On a racetrack of this, the way the racetrack is tonight, it's not hurting. It could possibly even help him a little bit getting transferred to the rear, as you see the front wheels pull there. On a high-speed racetrack, you don't want to lose the front wing because it won't turn getting in the corners. But here the racetrack is a little bit slower. The speeds are down a little bit. It could be helping him.
I'm sure he lost the wing in that first crash here in the 3rd heat. First of several.
Yeah, that is when they lost it.
Whoa. Every time he gets on the gas, Brad, that right corner just picks right up on Andy.
Well, you know, there's a misconception. A lot of people think that you're taking the white flag, that a wing sprint car, these guys just put their foot in it and run wide open all the way around the racetrack. That non-wing drivers, finesse the throttle pedal. On a racetrack like this, it is finesse on the throttle pedal. These wing sprint cars, you can buzz the tires, spin them, as we've seen everybody, and get loose and sideways. So it's up to the driver to be smooth on the throttle pedal.
Checkered flag, Randy Hillenburg. Bankston will take 2nd. Lund goes to the A main. He's got 3rd. Terry McCarl takes 4th. And a great job by Peter Murphy to come home in 5th with the wing hanging down in front of his face.
And no nose wing on his car either.
So Andy Hillenburg will take the black number 2 to the A main, a place that Steve Kinser would like to be, Bobby.
He certainly would, Ralph. Obviously, the name of the game is to get to the A main. That favors Steve Kinser tonight. Why? Because he didn't time nearly as well as he wanted to, but he's got the advantage of starting on the front row, and after what we've just seen in this heat race, that front row could be the advantage you need.
Well, I'd rather be on the inside, but I'd rather been qualified a little better, but we went out early and the track got quicker, and it's just the breaks of the game.
Do you maybe try to force the issue a little bit and get that advantage coming off of 4 then?
I don't know. We just need to get tucked back in line, not get hung out there.
Guys, I'm going out on a limb. I'm saying Steve Kinser wins this next heat race.
That's not a big limb, or small limb, I should say. Steve Kinser, Jac Haudenschild, Jeff Swindell, Danny Lasowski. How do they do on this track? We'll find out when we come back.
1 minute Maalox.
Heartburn at this hour is a nightmare. That unbearable burning.
I need something that starts to work fast. The minute I take Maalox, I know health is on the way.
1 minute Maalox, cooling, coating, calming. You can feel it right away. And clinical studies prove Maalox starts to work on stomach acid in about 1 minute, while Pepsid AC could take over 45 minutes.
I can't afford to lose any sleep. Thanks, Maalox.
For heartburn or acid indigestion, count on 1 minute Maalox.
Go to a whole new place. Go beyond soft to silky. With the first Caress body wash with 3 moisturizers. Go beyond the ordinary to a remarkable new formula that works 3 ways. Caress actually hydrates, replenishes, and smooths your skin for one beautiful silky feeling. Go beyond soft, all the way to silky. New Caress moisturizing body wash.
On the next Hot Rod TV.
The return of Project Pony. We built a 9-inch rear end on our 5-liter Mustang. Saturday at 4:30 on TNN.
Think you can't afford the winter rates at a tropical resort? Welcome to the ultimate winter celebration at Opryland Hotel, our most affordable vacation of the year. Now through March, Opryland Hotel and American Express invite you to stay at the magnificent Opryland Hotel for rates starting at just $49.50 per person. Enjoy 9 acres of breathtaking indoor gardens. Dine on the patio. Take a flatboat cruise. Relax and unwind in this unique tropical environment. Or create a complete entertainment package with tickets to Opryland USA's most popular attractions, the world-famous Grand Ole Opry.
Midnight fight.
The General Jackson Showboat, the Ryman Auditorium, and the Wild Horse Saloon. Call 1-800-316-1316. Join us for the ultimate winter celebration, our most affordable vacation of the year.
We're back. The T-shirt truck busy here tonight. People buying big, thick, heavy Pennzoil World of Outlaw jackets. It's pretty cold here tonight, Bobby Gerald.
A little. Here, I even brought my gloves tonight, but I haven't had to put them on yet, Ralph. But let's talk about Andy Hillenburg. This guy's an Iron Man. 393 straight appearances in World of Outlaws A mains, and he wins the heat with no front wing, no brakes, and to top all that off, Andy took a rock to the eye. You all right, man?
I think so. Just, man, that seemed like an eternity there. We fired back off, and everything's about, well, the front wing's gone. We forgot to bleed the brakes. I had to change the front axle, and the header smashed shut, and then something hit me in the eye. So I guess we're lucky to win it.
How's that eye?
Oh, it'll be fine. We'll wash her out here in a minute.
All right, Andy Hillenburg getting ready for running the dash.
Brad, how tough is that when I'm sure you've gotten rocks and dirt in your eyes before?
Yeah, it's real tough. I mean, it's hard to concentrate on a track like this, but that had to be bothering him in water in all-night heat race. But he looks lucky that he's going to be okay.
Today, brief in the pits.
Terry McCarl got out of the race car with a big smile on his face, and to quote him, he said that was the heat race from hell, I believe it was?
I think that was not a new track record for a heat race, I'll tell you.
Damage all over this race car. Quickly?
We're just glad to finish. Got left front wheels bent, left front rotors bent, the right rear shocks broke, the right rear brake lines broke off it, the top wing's junk, and that's all I know of right now.
Brad, how much of a handful was this car? Look at the front wheel. Wobble, wobble, wobble.
Well, what that does, he's talking about the rotor, and that shakes the pistons, the brake pistons back in, so if he did have brakes, he had to pump the pedal into every corner.
Other than all that, it's a clean one owner. Never been raced, only wrecked once. Brad, you were concerned about the design of this racetrack without an inside wall, that these big dirt clods could be picked up and thrown into the cockpit. We just saw evidence of that.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Steve. When they get the left front wheel up on that infield, it throws that stuff out on the racetrack and into the guys behind them.
Let's take a look at the lineup now for heat number 4. Steve Coelho and Steve Kinser on row number 1. That's a big advantage for the King. Darren Pittman and Jac Haudenschild back in row number 2. Jeff Swindell and Danny Lasowski in row 3. Those two will each be one spot out of a transfer when they start this. That ought to be exciting. Pinniger and Myers in row 4. Cross and Ronnie Day and Dwayne Bonning Jr. Bonini Jr., I should say. There's Lasowski and Swindell. Danny and the Beef Packers number 83 on the outside, and Jeff Swindell and the 104 Octane Boost car, the red and flames car. If it's the first time you've had a chance to see it, you might remember it was black and gold, the Gold Eagle colors. Well, they own this company, 104 Octane Boost, so now that is a sponsor of the car. Here we go, green.
Let's see if the guys up front have learned anything from that previous heat.
Well, you saw what Steve Kinser did. He just let Coelho go there and tucked right in behind him. Steve just let him go and moved into the bottom, coming off of turn 4.
Swindell moves up into the 4th spot. That's the final transfer. Look at this, 3 wide. Lasowski on the outside. He'll slot into 5th. He is one spot out of a transfer now. One car with a bad push and a broken right front, I think.
Yeah, he's got a flat right front tire, Ralph. Right front tire is flat.
That'll bring out the yellow.
Bring out the yellow.
But it will also give us a single file restart, won't it?
I thought it was flat. It sure looked like it from the angle and the way he slowed down up there, but
yeah.
It is not flat there.
Is that Pinniger?
Yeah.
Larry Pinniger in the 11?
Yep, out of Des Moines, Iowa.
When he rolled up around the top of the racetrack when it was live there, it sure looked like the right front was flat, so we at this point don't know what happened.
Former champ at the Iowa State Fairgrounds over in Des Moines, Iowa, Brings out the yellow in heat number 4. Stay with us, please.
Every 10 seconds or so, a stop sign goes up somewhere in America. And every 30 seconds, a traffic light goes up. It's as hard on your car as it is on you. It's stop and go. Stop and go. Stop and go driving. Use Pennzoil. Formulated for today's stop and go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
License and registration, ma'am?
Oh, yes, sir. Here you are. Have you eaten yet, officer?
Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars. Low fat, no preservatives. Is this supposed to be a bribe?
Oh, no, sir.
With a great soft baked crust and real fruit filling. Oh, maybe I could let you go.
You mean it?
No. Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bars. Good food to go.
Relax, it's all natural.
Made with pure canola oil, a natural ingredient for fat-free cooking is all-natural Pam.
How a secret agent eats a Reese's peanut butter cup. I slip in unnoticed, penetrate the defenses, secure the discs, then destroy the evidence. There's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
This week on My Classic Car, we'll visit the Camaro Street Nationals, and we'll talk with one of the entertainment world's biggest car nuts, Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys. My Classic Car, Saturday on TNN Motorsports.
We're back to Las Vegas Speedway. There's a big Steve Kinser fan. A lot of those. When a guy wins 417A features, he's going to get some big fans. Watch what happened over in turns 3 and 4, and this is why we are under yellow. Watch Larry Pinnaker's 11. That's the black car on the outside. He gets hit here on the inside, Brad.
Just boy, if they made contact, it was slight. It's almost like he just saw him coming and moved out of his way. He might have jumped out of gear or stalled before that point, too.
But, you know, the guy on the point here, Coelho, his best finish last year with thirds at Santa Maria and Hanford. Be interesting to see what Steve Kinser does in the 11 car, the green Quaker State car. If he just says, go away, kid. Just don't hit
Steve,
anything.
Steve's not going to. Yeah, he's not going to try.
I've won thousands of heats. Yeah. This is not that big a deal.
Doesn't pay that much money. He's not worried about
No.
it. He's not going to. Steve Kinser is not going to push it. Neither will Jac Haudenschild, really sitting there in third.
But that makes things interesting for Jeff Swindell and Daniel Lasowski, who are fighting for that final transfer spot, which Swindell has right now. We got another one upside down. In turn 3. That's the blue 8 car.
Graydon Cross, Clovis, California.
Boy, if they can just get through turns 3 and 4.
The big old wing did its job. Had that been a wingless car, it probably would have rolled 3 or 4 more times.
Well, he just got up on that berm, Steve, we talked about, and turned him over.
Well, let's see. We've got at least the end of it. He's running Goodyears and McCurry's. See that?
Contingency, collect twice.
Just tripped over the left rear, got up there and turned sideways on that bank, the infield banking there, and the left rear dug in. And
now, you talked about how the guys cannot see the front of the car and how they have to drive with feel when they hit the berm. When you touch the berm, what happens to the steering wheel, and then what do you normally do to catch it?
Well, it all depends if you're entering the corner, exiting the corner.
All right,
on the
let's
throttle.
say you're entering it like you
Okay, like there, if you get it over too far, it hooks the left front up there and drags the race car into it. There's not a lot you can do. If you just nip at it, it'll bounce the front end out on the racetrack and give the guy behind you a chance to get underneath of you.
So you really don't have any choice depending on, I guess it all comes down to where the front end lands.
Where it lands, and if you're on and off the throttle, on or off the throttle at the point of contact to the infield berm. And, you know, these guys, they can't see them, but you do get a feel for it. It's really hard to explain. Like I said, you get used to your family car, you know about where the front bumper is. You know, when you pull up to somebody, you know it's, you know, and that's what you get used to in a sprint car. You just, from running, hate to say it, but from running, when you run into enough things, pretty soon you figure out where the front tires are, and you try not to do that anymore.
That's why they named him the 1997 National Sprint Car Pole Media Member of the Year because he could explain it so well, Dave Reed.
It hates when I do that, so quit doing it.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable, Brad. That's some pretty good analysis. Hey, Gary Brazier's got his work cut out for him in the Mopar car. He's coming up in our 5th heat race. He'll start 7th, but maybe the best part about it is you're starting on the inside, and that seems to be obviously the preferred line.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the inside line's the preferred line right now, but, you know, 7th's a long way back in the pack, and, you know, we're just going to go there, start it off with the night bad, but we can hopefully finish off real strong. 8 laps. Can you be patient, or do you got to be aggressive? Well, I definitely think you're going to have to be a bit aggressive and try and force your way through a little, so we're going to try and make that top 4.
Watch that Mopar car, guys. Going to be aggressive in Heat 5.
There were more rumors about that team during the offseason than all the rest of them put together. That Gary Stanton was shopping it, that he might go in with Carl and Mark Kinser. There was some talk about Steve Kinser running the Mopar Power. It all settles right back into Stanton's ownership and the Australian driving season.
And he has won in his own car in Australia with a Mopar in it. So let's hope for good things for this team this year.
We'll go green at the cone, and Steve Coelho out of Tulare, California is one of the best positions he's ever been at an Outlaw show. He's got a one groover here, and he's out front, and the rest of the guys are trying to be patient. He could end up winning this thing.
Yeah, the pressure is really on Danny Lasowski, who's sitting in 5th.
Well, he went to the B last week in Manzanita, so unfortunately for Danny, he spent a lot of time there so far in the Outlaws this season.
Well, we've talked before that running the B main's not always that bad. It gives you another race on the track to figure out your tire selection and gear selection, things like that.
Well, I don't know. Steve Kinser in this green Quaker State car is looking pretty aggressive. Look at this for the lead.
All Coelho just flat gave it to him there. He got high and opened the door wide open.
Steve needs to play with this racetrack. He needs to experiment in this heat race.
Right now,
the reason he's out there.
That's right. Now in the lead, Steve, he can move around a little bit, which he's not going to move up real high because he knows it, but he can move around a little bit and try some different lines.
Haudenschild in the yellow car closing in now. Here's a fight for the transfer. This is just behind 3rd place Jac Haudenschild. That's the 4th place car, the red 104 of Jeff Swindell, and the white and burgundy 83 of Danny Lasowski. Here's the fight for 2nd. Coelho with the big wheelie in the 6th, and here comes Haud, and that Pennzoil number 22.
You asked me about hitting the berm. Right there was a good example. Coelho hit the berm coming out of turn 2 and did a big wheel stand. Does that one more time, and Haudenschild will be getting by him here.
Haud watching, looking for the hole. When you got 800 horsepower buried in something that only weighs 1,100 pounds, you're going to get pretty quick reaction to it.
You saw a shot of Haudenschild going in and working the steering wheel. In the opener of the show, talked about finesse on and off the throttle, and it's also in the steering wheel. No sudden movements, no quick reaction. You just try to be as smooth on and off the throttle and on the steering wheel as you can be.
Heading back to the fight for the final transfer. Here comes Lasowski in the Beef Packers 83, trying to catch Jeff Swindell, who is normally powered by a Ford, but they blew up their one Ford engine last week at Manzanita. He's running a Chevy here tonight.
There you see Haudenschild all over Coelho. Jack got a little loose there and spun the tires.
That hurt him, didn't it?
Yep.
White flag is out for Steve Kinser, and here comes Haud up the inside of Coelho, backs off a little bit.
You saw
Lasowski tries the outside and then gets blocked by Swindell. Boy, this is going to be a great finish. Swindell hooks the berm, and Lasowski goes by.
On the last lap, Jeff Swindell is so mad at himself right now. That was just that he's spitting nails.
Kinser takes a checkered flag. Coelho trying to hold up for 2nd. He does. Haudenschild gets 3rd. Lasowski gets 4th. Jeff Swindell has to go to the B. Brad, he was 2 corners away from an easy
on the last lap, and you called it, Ralph. He just hooked that left front up on the berm, and it slowed him down enough that Lasowski got by on the outside.
At the risk of being redundant, back here in the fall, he won it coming out of the B, but he gets his time trial back that time and put him up way in the front of the B. I'm not sure about tonight.
Let's watch this again. Here it is in turn 2. That's
okay,
the red car
right there, Jeff Swindell hooking the left front up on that berm. Turns him, gets the left front, and it just slowed the car. He had to get clear out of the throttle and ride it out there. And Lasowski squeezes by on the outside.
But let's remember as well, there's no rear view mirrors, so he didn't really know how far back Danny was anyway, so it was all by sense of feel. You don't know how much pressure he was really feeling.
Nope, and he just, trying to stay as tight to the bottom and just misjudged a little bit and got the left front hung up on there.
Let's go to Dave Reed.
Guys, after 25 years of sprint car racing, Sammy Swindell, well, has basically seen it all, where a lot of guys are sweating to try to get inside the top 4 and make it to tonight's A-Main. Sammy's been there many times. How do you approach something like this on a difficult track?
Well, we've got a good car and a good team here. We just go out there and take whatever we get. It's tough out there tonight with the way the track is.
It all depends on what kind of start you get. Hopefully we can get a good one.
Sammy's got plenty of experience, and guys, as you know, experience can pay dividends.
229 8-feature wins for Sammy Swindell. He's figured out his share of racetracks. We'll find out how he can do here tonight when we come back.
In a warm blue sea toward a deserted shore, you feel your feet touch bottom. As you wade onto the beach, you spot a sand dollar abandoned by the tide. You pick it up, and that's when you notice them. Large footprints. Boots. You think only cowboy boots would leave prints like that. Then you realize you must be in Texas.
For a more unique vacation experience than you ever imagined, come to Texas. It's like a whole other country.
Not again.
I was a 98-pound weakling.
Bully.
Then I called for the free Texas travel guide. It's swell. Everywhere I go, I carry the entire state of Texas with me. From the canyons of Big Bend to the big city. And thanks to the Texas travel guide, I found the beaches where the people are friendly.
Howdy.
No more sand in the face for me.
For your free Texas travel guide, call 1-800-8888-TEX.
It's out there waiting. And in all our years of experience, we've learned one thing. You're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With upfront pricing at Midas, we first perform a 45-point inspection to find what repairs are needed and what can wait. So you only pay what we quote you. Come into Midas today, because you never know what you might run into next.
There, the man and woman sit under the moon in love.
Uh-huh.
And he likes her, and she likes him. And so they...
Okay, they look at each other and fall in love. He buys her some dresses, she buys him a house. They get great jobs, life is perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Good. Let's go look at the monkeys.
March 8th on TNN Motorsports. The world's fastest dragsters gather in Florida for some 300-mile-per-hour fun in the sun. But
you're not quick enough.
You're going home. Only NHRA's quickest compete in the race that has a history of speed and spills. It's the 28th running of the Back Tools Skater Nationals. Sunday, March 8th at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. And it's only on
the leader in motorsports coverage, TNN Motorsports.
Hey, it's time for the Old Milwaukee Race for Taste, where somebody is going to win one of these hot little mini cars. It is so cute, and it is so easy to enter. Just watch the race and write down the winner's name on a postcard, along with your name, address, and age, and send it to Old Milwaukee Race for Taste Sweepstakes, TNN Station, P.O. Box 3534, Southbury, Connecticut, 06488-3534. Then watch race day on Sundays to see if you've won. Are you ready? Here we go.
And remember, Dodie, if you're a member of the TNN family, you can't enter.
Aw, man, I wanted that thing.
Pennzoil World of Outlaws, the Silver State Shootout. We're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the series. And, Bobby, when you talk about the 20th anniversary season of Pennzoil World of Outlaws, this guy's name comes right to the forefront.
Hey, he really has been the man with the World of Outlaws, and he showed you why in that last heat race, at least for my money, Steve. That was some smart driving right there. You kind of waited for Coelho to make that one mistake, and you took advantage of it.
Well, there's only one groove on the racetracks right on the bottom, and, you know, the good news is we got to start on the front. The bad news is we drew a real early number, and the track got a lot quicker, and we're way back starting into the back of the race on a track you can't pass on. So we'll just have to take the bad tonight and live with it, I guess.
All right, and to make matters worse, his team is searching for a harder compound tire for that feature event as well.
Isn't everybody? With one to go, let's take a look at the Heat 5 lineup. Landis, Whitworth, Gertie, McMahon making up the first two rows. Sean Fenton, look at where Sammy Swindell starts from, back in row 3. Frazier and Delansky. And rounding this one out, Hensley, Stidman, and Sean Sander in row 6. Now, what do you do if you're Sammy?
Well, you try to get to the inside. He's on the outside. He maybe do like Kinser. If there's an opening off a turn 4, he'll dive to the bottom and try to get down there.
We're green.
Luckily, nobody touched him. He is stopped to bring out the yellow. He will go to the tail.
And everybody's stay straight as we go through 1 and 2. And we will take a break, get some more of this business out of the way. Gary Brazier's Mopar, we're looking for a push truck.
As you may have read on the internet, independent brewmasters and beer experts conducted a tasting of just about every major beer in the country. For 4 months, they sampled ice and regular beers for character, flavor, and overall quality. In the end, the judges named one beer the best tasting beer in America. Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best tasting beer, now you know exactly what to ask your server for. Old Milwaukee.
Don't! That's bad luck. We gotta look like Rain Clean Clorox bleach.
Don't be fooled by bargain bleaches. Only Rain Clean Clorox bleach smells fresh as a spring rain.
Told ya.
Try Rain Clean Clorox bleach.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do you do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Join Motor Madness next week as every racer's favorite way to get wet comes to TNN. The Swamp Buggies make their 98 debut, and the madness will definitely be wet and wild. They've been described as Scud missiles with wheels, skipping across the water. And if you've never seen the buggies in action, you can't miss this one. Catch all the madness from the Florida Sports Park in Naples, right here on Motor Madness, next week.
Well, this is the race for taste here. Heat number 5 of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws, Silver State Shootout. This wonderful 20th anniversary season with the World of Outlaws. Now, this is what happened. Watch the Mopar number 75 on the inside, middle of the pack there.
Got the left front up on that berm that we've talked about. Bounced the car up in the air. When he came down, he got sideways and looped it.
Fortunately, everybody avoided him.
Yeah.
Landis and Whitworth pacing the field. That's Calvin Landis in the white number 70 on the inside, and Scott Whitworth on the outside in the yellow number 96.
It's a lot of pressure on these two drivers up front with Joe Garrity and guys like Sammy Swindell and you name it behind to not make a mistake, but yet you want to go fast.
Well, hopefully they've seen what happened in some of the other heat races, and they know if they just cool it and be smooth. I keep talking about it, but that's the important thing on a racetrack like this. They're going to finish up front and make the main event.
Keep your fingers crossed. We're going green.
There is a God.
Landis leads him off at 2. Whitworth runs in second. Sammy fighting for a transfer. He's got it.
Boy, Sammy is working good. When he rolled around the outside there and took a spot, he took a gamble that he did to go into that corner.
It was worth the gamble. I think Sammy thought to himself, get into fourth, stay at least there, and don't suffer the same fate as Mark Kinser.
Brazier into the infield, and he's going to get stuck, and we're yellow. Sean Fenn had just gotten around the 88 car of McMahon and moved himself up into 5th. And he was going to be one spot out of a transfer, and he rolls up alongside of Sammy Swindell and say, hey, guy, I had a pretty good run going. Now, let's take a look at this off the speed shot and see if we can figure out what happens to Brazier. There's Fenn getting inside of McMahon right there, the green car coming by, and there goes Brazier. Just
it's got loose. Maybe, again, looked like he might have hooked the left front up on the berm a little bit, but it isn't what he wants to be doing.
Well, he brought out the first caution, and when you do that, they put you at the back of the pack. Now from the back, he spins again. They can't put him any further back.
Sammy Swindell jumped out of gear, it looks like, and he's waiting for a push truck.
Oh, boy. Now, that will put him to the back.
Yes, it will, and he's going to have a long way to go. And coming from a long way to find victory lane is a guy that Dave Reef is standing by with.
I am standing by with Jeff Swindell, who crawled out of his race car with a very disgusted look on his face, looked me in the eye, and he said, why don't you go ahead and kick me? I think he's been kicking himself hard enough. In case you forgot what happened in Heat 4, everybody at home, why don't you remind us what happened and how it happened?
Well, I was just sitting there running in 4th, the last transfer spot, and I knew dude was behind me, and he was going to stay there pretty close. So I didn't want to get too close to Haud, and Haud was all over Coella, and I didn't know what they were going to do, so I didn't want to get too close to them, and they about banged there right in front of me going into 1 on that last lap, and when they did, I took my eye off the berm just a hair, and I caught the berm on the inside with the left front. When I did, it made the car crawl up over it, and I couldn't get out of it.
I remember, though, he won this thing from the B here last fall.
And Sammy Swindell trying to get himself going here in heat number 5. Stay with us.
Hey, listen up. Honda dealers are offering 5% financing and no down payment on all new Valkyries.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
This week on NASCAR Garage, we'll meet NASCAR owner Kurt Roehrig and see how one rookie took the checkers at Talladega.
NASCAR Garage, this weekend on the leader for motorsports coverage, TNN Motorsports.
Presenting Sounds of the 80s. All your favorite 80s hits in one incredible collection.
Don't turn around.
Get Sounds of the 80s for just $9.99 on compact disc or double-length cassette. That's more than 1 full hour of classic 80s hits.
Our house in the middle of our street.
Then audition other great Sounds of the 80s albums. There's no minimum to buy. Cancel anytime. So call now.
To order, call 1-800-459-5577 or send $9.99 for cassette or CD plus $3.95 shipping to Sounds of the 80s, Department 15, Richmond, Virginia.
We're back at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and problems for Sammy Swindell. The car came out of gear, and they couldn't get it back in gear. We believe that the problem has now been remedied. Glenn Stewart, a crew member for Sammy, a little out of breath right now and trying to get a quick fix. What was indeed the problem?
I don't know. It just popped out of gear for some reason. I think I got it back in. I ain't sure, but I think so.
All right, well, we're going to find out here very quickly. Sammy Swindell back out on the racetrack right now in car number 1, but it's kind of iffy right now, guys.
Bobby Jackson gives him 1 to go. And, Brad, we've talked about this berm here. Look how high it is down here in turns 1 and 2.
That's entering turn 1 and 2. And you can see right there, I mean, that's probably a foot or so high right there. You get the left front up on that, and that's what's been causing all the havoc tonight.
Sammy Swindell, to get a transfer spot here, will have to pass, what, 6 cars at least on a slick racetrack?
6 or 7, absolutely. He's got a long way to go, and there's only one groove around this thing.
Racetrack.
He's got 1 car so far as Calvin Landis and Scott Whitworth lead this one. They run 1 and 2.
There's Sammy Swindell.
There's Sammy trying to get inside of Frazier. He just slams into the berm. Delansky with the Polydome car runs in 3rd. And Fenn has got the final transfer right now in the green 36 as you watch Sammy coming up inside the 51 car, Victor Hensley.
Okay. Oh, Sammy
popped out of gear again.
Yep. Down the back straightaway.
Now he's back in.
He was able to reach down. They have a cable actuated that slides a coupler in and off, or on and off the lower shaft in the rear end. And for some reason, something's out of alignment or something, and it popped out again, and he was able to pull it back into gear.
Brad, he slammed that berm about a lap or so before. Could that have knocked it loose?
Just jumped out again. It just jumped out.
Knocked it loose, slamming that berm like that?
I don't think so, Ralph. It's got more of a problem than that. He's in and out back there. He's playing with the thing. Now, he could possibly be trying to hold this with one hand and steer with the other.
He is. He's steering with his left and holding with his right.
Sean Penn just takes over 3rd from Delansky. They both slide wide. Look at the great battle for the lead with Landis in the white car and Whitworth in the yellow car. And a yellow because Sammy stopped. I'll tell you what, the B feature is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to have a great B main.
Man. Like I said before, it's going to look like the A main.
Absolutely. You got Mark Kinser's in there already. Sammy looks like he's headed there. Jeff Swindell's going there.
Yep.
Boy, it's going to be a good B feature here tonight. Sean Fenn in the green 36 has been having a great drive out of Chico, California. In that green 36 car, he has worked his way up into third. He is right in front of Craig Delansky, but it looks like Delansky in the Polydome car is that red number 1X is arguing the point a little bit.
Do you know what Polydome is?
You're going to tell me, I know.
You know, we talked about, you teased about the Farm Boy. Basically, it's just a...
Oh, now, great. Me teasing about the Farm Boy, and now everybody across the country who lives in the middle of the heartland of America thinks I was picking on farmers.
No.
I was picking on you.
You are a suburban farmer. Let's put it... That be right?
I grew up in the suburbs of Sacramento, yeah. I just don't know anything about the
Polydome. What they make, it's basically just a doghouse for calves. When they wean the calves off their mother cow, and it's just a big doghouse.
Those little round
Farm Boy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and being the Farm Boy from Apple Creek, right? Got that right?
Creek.
Oh, you say creek? No, I thought you told me it was a creek. Say creek or creek?
Depends on how much it rains, I guess, whether it's a creek or a creek.
From Ohio.
It's a river in California.
Everywhere it's a river.
Take a shot here at wishing a really happy birthday to Joe Garrity, the 8H car, who turns 32 years old tomorrow. And by the way, tomorrow there will be an Outlaw race. If you're in the Las Vegas area, come out and see him.
Well, this B feature is really going to be something. We counted Sammy Swindell, Jeff Swindell, Mark Kinser.
Right now, Brazier back there in the Mopar car. He's not in the transfer spot yet.
Andy Hillenburg is one of the two that escaped.
Here we go, racing again, bouncing their way through turns 3 and 4 as Sammy tries to work his way up. Look at the start Delansky got from 4th to 2nd. And Sean Fenn coming around the outside from 4th to 3rd.
We're starting to see guys move around the outside. They have nothing to lose. It's again on a restart. That is when it's the slowest time on the racetrack. There's Joe Gertie going around the outside.
He's trying to get a transfer spot. Joe Gertie from the outside. He could be looking at a B feature ride here if he doesn't hurry up.
And Craig Delansky, the 1X car running second, started clear back in 8th. What a nice, sneaky effort.
Remember, this is your race for taste going on here, and it's tasting pretty good right now. Calvin Landis doing a good job of holding on to the lead in this one as the white flag comes out. Delansky, Fenn, Whitworth, your top 4. Joe Gertie could be joining the Swindells and Mark Kinser in the B feature. Oh, Sean Fenn, big wild ride. Up and over. The Chico, California driver was doing such a great job. Had a transfer ride going on. Landis wins it. Delansky gets second. Third will go to Whitworth. Fourth will go to Joe Gertie. And poor Sean Fenn is out of the A feature for now.
Boy, you just talked about it earlier, how good a job he is doing. And boy, he just looked like he got up over a wheel there. And that's what happens.
Big air for Sean Fenn. Watch the green car running in 3rd.
This is what happens in any form of open wheel racing when tires come to tires.
Left front up over Craig Delansky's right rear. Nothing Delansky did there. It's just Sean misjudged the front wheel and climbed over it.
And his closing rate.
Bounced on the tail, bounced on the nose.
You know, and incredibly, the car doesn't look hurt that bad.
No. So he could get the thing repaired and take another shot at him.
For the B, yeah, he's definitely over. I mean, the race is over, but they wouldn't have gotten it fixed, but it could have been a lot worse.
That big right rear working just like a launching pad.
Amazing how little it affected the car that he hit.
Mm-hmm.
God love those belts, those arm restraints.
Yeah, you can see how little he actually moved around in the car. Sean himself sits pretty still, which is exactly what you would want.
The truck is showing off here. How many angles do we have? All of them is the answer to that. Great camera.
Right there, when he bounced the front end up, it come down, it slammed in the left rear again, dug in.
We have liftoff.
Look at the height.
That was a 1.5.
I'll tell you what, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds are based right over here next door at Dallas Air Force Base, but I think this is probably the wildest ride you could get in Vegas tonight.
They got that on radar.
There was the hardest hit at the end there, but none of them are real, as I say, ground pounders that, really hurt, where the belts tighten up and you get a lot of rash burns from the seat belts. He'll be ready for the B main.
I think I'll just watch the B main from here. Sammy, he's going to the B main. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. Stay with us.
got a job to do, this is the tool to do it. Suzuki's new Quad Runner 500 4x4 with quad-link rear suspension and torque-sensitive limited slip front differential. Take it out when you need it. Put it back when you're done.
You were going to try the patch, but you didn't. You're going to try the gum. You didn't. And you're still smoking. It's time to see your doctor about totally different ways to help you quit. Not a patch, not a gum, but prescription medicine that can help separate you from your cigarettes. Ask your doctor or call 1-888-959-STOP and finally break free from smoking.
Us grown-up girls know exactly what we want. Of course, we're so much smarter. And much more mature.
Now your kids can enjoy great tasting all-white meat chicken tenders shaped like their favorite Rugrats.
When I see these stains, I see my son, Lenny. He fixes cars. Can you tell?
You need 409 Carpet Cleaner. On the toughest stains, it works even better than Resolve Foam.
Later, Lenny.
Try 409 Carpet Cleaner.
You know, if they can send a man to Mars, you'd think they could make a cup of decaf that tastes as good as this.
This is decaf, and they didn't send a man to Mars.
That's what you think.
Well, this crowd, although it's very cold in the grandstands tonight, is seeing quite a show. It's been some pretty wild racing, and Sean Fenn just heated things up. Bobby Gerald, how is everybody down the pits?
Well, we're going to talk with Sammy Swindell, who is standing inside of his trailer right now and making some preparations for his run in the B-Main. We'll try to take you back as far as we can into the trailer here with the camera to get a word with Sammy, who right now is still busy working on it. It looks like that's about as far as the camera's going to go. So, Sammy, the problem in the heat race with the car coming out of gear, do you think that's something that will be remedied quickly? How will you remedy it? Do you just have to change the whole rear end and hope you find the problem that way?
Yeah, well, you can't get to the parts, you know, in time to fix anything, so we have to change the whole thing. But brand new piece, you know, you think it would make more than 10 laps, so I don't know what the problem is, you know.
So obviously disappointed, and now you're going to have to come through the B-Main. I guess the good news is that your brother Jeff won the main event here at Las Vegas last year when he was able to get some laps in the B-Main. You'll probably learn something about the racetrack.
Oh, I don't know. You know, the track's all different, so it'd have to be the right circumstances to do that again, you know. But, we just have to do what we can.
All right, I was trying to find a little silver lining for you there, Sammy, but better luck to you. Dave Reef.
I'm standing by with Heat 5 winner, Calvin Landis. 2 heat races, 2 heat race wins. Way to go, man.
Yeah, the car's been running really good this year. 2 heat races in a row is a big deal for us. We hadn't won a heat race before this season. We ended up finishing 15th last week in the A-Main. I'd like to thank Arizona Race Mart, Poppin' Hot, Caramel Corn, Sideline Racing, and Collectibles for all their help. Canyon Raceway.
Did you just make that up, or did you have that written down?
No, it's on the race car, all over the race car. The guys have done a really good job. My sponsors helped me and get me here to the racetrack. Thank you.
And guys from the corner, Sean Fenn is okay. Sean Fenn and okay.
Well, we got a special guest joining us in the booth here tonight. Steve Evans, Ralph Shaheen, Brad Doty, and a guy who knows a lot about running sprint cars, Johnny Rutherford.
Well, I used to know a lot about running sprint cars. It's still thrilling to watch these guys, and you know, getting upside down like that hurts. So I would highly advise them not to do that.
Still got a lot of memories of that?
Oh yes, yes I do. I remember. You know, when I was racing sprint cars, we didn't have the wings and the cages. Had 9-inch wide tires. It was a little different, less horsepower, but it was fun. And sprint car racing is real racing.
You know, that's the thing. Growing up as a kid, I used to see you and AJ and Mario and everybody running the champ cars and all that, and I was amazed at. Now you see everybody running with the cages and how much that has done for safety. What was it like running without the cage?
That's the way it was. You know, you go to the museum at the Speedway and you see those old cars with the big wooden steering wheels, and the guys wore cloth helmets and glass goggles. They say, boy, how would you like to do that? Say, that's what they had to do it with, and that's the way you did it. So it's all relative. I think racing sprint cars without cages and without wings and smaller tires and less horsepower, we had just as exciting races then as they do today.
Well, I'm sorry,
you still like to go fast, only now you like to do it a few 1,000 feet up in the air. You still got that great airplane?
Well, no, I haven't had, you're talking about my P-51 Mustang. No, I missed that, but, you know, I didn't realize it's been this long, but I sold it in '82. And that's a long time ago.
What an airplane.
Yeah, great airplane. A lot of fun.
Johnny, I know you're a huge fan of sprint car racing, so we can twist your arm and have you stick around with us for a little while?
Sure, I'd love to.
Sounds good to me. Okay, well, as we step away for break, we've had an opportunity to talk to some of the World of Outlaw drivers about their favorite memories of running with the Outlaws. Here's Jeff Swindell.
You know, I think probably the most favorite memory I have, period, is the family I have. You know, and the way they put up with what I have to go and do and be gone so much, you know. Going to the racetrack and getting in the race car every night, that's the best memory, you know, is being able to do something you love for a living.
Look what Daddy gets. Looks good, huh? You eat those peas? This is Daddy's.
When you make a Spamburger hamburger,
Ain't all mine.
watch out.
Perfect.
Because the premium pork and ham, spiced to perfection, makes Spam so good, it's gone. Spam, so good, it's gone.
I've never had the toilet bowl so clean, just sparkles.
The Vanish hang-ins with the bleach gives it much more of a fresh smell.
It attacks the dirt before it has a chance to settle.
I have tried Clorox bleach tablets. I don't ever want to put my hands in toilet water again.
Yes. I gave up on the other products.
The dispenser is the key item.
The dirt vanishes away.
It works.
Vanish hang-ins bleach. Stop stains before they start. S.C. Johnson Wax.
If anybody doesn't believe me, ring my doorbell and you can smell my toilet.
So, Chuck, my daughter tells me you're a genius.
It's true. I was dialing 10321 before anyone.
Ah. But did you know it saves over AT&T on every call in the U.S.?
And 50% off all calls over 20 minutes.
International rates are great, too.
No need to sign up.
Simply dial 10321.
Then the number's usual.
I like him. Just get a haircut.
Dad.
Love lobster? It's Lobster Fest at Red Lobster with the lowest Lobster Fest prices in 6 years. Dive into some new tastes as well as old favorites. So get cracking. Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
Are you running on all 8 cylinders?
I'm a runner. A mother. A wannabe computer nerd.
V8 isn't just juice. It's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
March 15th on TNN Motorsports.
It's more than just speed.
It's bumper to bumper.
It's NASCAR racing.
It's the best motorsports in the world.
It's live Busch Grand National Racing from Nashville Speedway, USA. It's the Bell South Mobility Opryland 320. March 15th, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific on TNN Motorsports.
Get into it.
Las Vegas, Nevada, the site of tonight's Silver State Shootout. I'm Steve Evans, along with Ralph Sheheen and Brad Doty in the booth. You know, Las Vegas never lacks for interesting characters, but this past week, Caesar's Palace got a visit from one of the all-time interesting men.
You know what, darling? We have seen it all.
Everything.
Everything. All the sights of Las Vegas. Right here standing in Caesar's Palace, the most famous of them all. And we're going to find out a lot more about Las Vegas in Naples when we get down to the swamps down there in South Florida. And I want to tell you something else. They are hot and heavy back on the track. Let's go back to the world of outlaws.
All right, American Dream. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
All right, Steve, you know, tire wear has been a big issue here tonight at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're standing alongside Bobby Rice, who is the marketing manager for Goodyear Tires as far as the sprint cars go. And Bobby, is this very unusual for you guys tonight to see the kind of tire wear that we've been seeing?
It's very unusual. We very seldom ever have tire wear like we're having here tonight.
Now, there's been a little bit of an issue as far as obtaining tires because many of these teams have the middle-of-the-road Goodyear, the 25C, but not a lot of them are equipped with the 40 or the 62, the harder compound tires. You had some of the 40s early tonight. They sold out very quickly. What do you do for the rest of your customers?
Well, the first come, first serve here tonight, and the people to find out what they need early come and got them, and we sold out. But tomorrow we'll have more tires. We got tires coming from L.A. and we got tires coming from Akron, Ohio.
All right.
So we'll have plenty of tires tomorrow.
So they'll be here tomorrow, but among those top teams looking for the 40 Series Goodyear right now, Steve Kinser and Donny Schatz.
If you had a couple of those, you could make some serious money here tonight in the tire sales business. Somebody suggested this track is so slick, maybe they ought to just put on chains. We'll be back with the C-Main right after we pay a few bills.
Funny thing happens when you drink Welch's White Grape Juice. It makes your lips smack. And Welch's White Grape Juice comes in lots of other flavors. All 100% juice. You just can't help it.
Here you go.
Thanks.
Everyone loves Wendy's crispy chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets, please.
Didn't I just see you? They're all white meat.
Nuggets, please.
That was quick. Tender and juicy.
Chicken nuggets, please.
They had me going for a minute. Wendy's 99-cent nuggets, the best bet in...
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
Motor Madness, brought to you by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada, with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws 20th anniversary season, and the first of many live telecasts by TNN.
You know, we got the C-Main coming out, Ralph. And this is not like a lot of racetracks around the country that run a full season of races every Friday night, every Saturday night. This place is very lightly used, which makes it a difficult racetrack to know how to prepare. Even though they bring in knowledgeable people, it has no real history.
You're absolutely right, Steve. They're not sure how it's going to react to different weather conditions. And, you know, the guys that do it week in and week out and prepare the same dirt do get a better feel for it.
Johnny Rutherford, was there ever a night when you were racing dirt that everybody in the field thought the track was just great? Ever?
Well, I don't think you can please. You know, you can't please all of the people all of the time, kind of a situation. So it's good for several and not good for several. So it's a, you know, this is the kind of racetrack it is.
Let's check in with Dave Reed.
Guys, I'm down with the guy who's going to start outside the front row. That's Gary Wright. Now, 2 minutes ago, he wasn't a part of this race, but he just now ran back into the trailer and got his helmet. What's the story with that, Gary?
Well, you know, the track's so tough on tires tonight, we were just going to wait for tomorrow night, but what the heck, we're starting in front of the C. We'll give it a shot.
You think maybe the track's getting a little better? The fifth heat race did go better.
Yeah, the track's just so narrow. There's so many crashes, there's just not room to race, but maybe it's getting a little wider.
He will start outside row number 1, guys.
Well, Johnny, maybe the old double diamond.
Yeah,
Firestone might be good on a racetrack.
Like that, yes. I think they need to put a little water up around the top and wet that cushion a little bit. And I think there's been some talk of possibly doing that. And get up there and put some more water. And we'll see, you know, the guys get up there and throw that over the fence, and then they'll have to run on the pole again.
They did get out with the water truck during the intermission there and tried to get it wet down a little bit. But, Brad, it would take a lot to really get it right. I mean, just watering it, that helps, but you still need to dig it up, don't you?
Yeah, that's the point, because right now they did water it, but that's just laying on top of the racetrack. The racetrack is so hard underneath that, you know, the water would just run down on the black part of the racetrack if they put too much on.
Plus, with these tires, it's pneumatic compaction, and as the rubber meets the dirt, it pumps the water back out of the ground, and pretty soon there's none left in there. There's no penetration.
These big wide tires, we used to call those Jalonis. I don't know if I remember that. But the big Jaloni tires, they just act like a roller, and they go out there and squeeze the water out and move it around and pack the dirt, and pretty soon it gets black, and that's the way we see it now.
Well, for fans who love a little dirt in the bottom of their beer cup, they've come to the right place tonight.
Here's your lineup for the C-Main tonight. Danny Wood and Gary Wright will have the best advantage here as they start on the front row. Larry Neighbors and Jason Myers in row 2. David Fowler and Billy Wilburn in row number 3. Shauna Wilsky's back at it. She's in row 4. And Greg Cross alongside in the 8C car. Victor Hensley and Danny Jennings will make up row number 5. Brian Coelho is back in row number 6 alongside of Shane Travioli. Ronnie Day's got a long way to go, as does Craig Stidham, Patrick Bork, and Doug Jenkins to get into the B. Greg Weiss, Bonini, Sanders, Hikes, Cox, and Lucchese round out the C feature lineup.
Even if you do get into the B, you're going to tag the end of it, and your work gets even harder. What do you think with a little water on this racetrack now, guys, that maybe somebody will get desperate and go up high and try to find something up there?
Well, some of the guys in the back will have to, because it's so bump and bang and follow the leader around the bottom. But if they're going to do it, they're going to have to do it quick, because it's not going to last very long up there, if there's anything even now.
Well, and I'll tell you one other thing. If you get out of the C and you get into the B, the B feature, as Gary Wright gets pushed out, is awesome. You've got Jeff Swindell, Murphy, Sammy Swindell, Mark Kinser, Randy Hannigan, Sean Finn, Tyler Walker. I mean,
that's
not easy, yeah. And you got the dash before that to go. I mean, you know, not that that would affect the transfer system, but there's going to be a lot more racing. The track's going to take a lot of abuse, and the B feature is going to be incredibly tough, and they're taking 4 cars out of that B.
And they're out of tires in the pits.
Yeah, they can't get the hard enough tires that they're looking for, so a lot of guys scratching tonight.
What was the toughest night you ever had, John?
Oh, gosh. There were several. You know,
I would have to say this is probably Eldora when you're going out over.
Well, yeah, that was one of them. That was one of them. But we didn't run at night much. You know, that was the thing. There were a few exceptions, but running at night is a luxury. And I think seeing the IRL cars run at night is really awesome. To see them at Texas Motor Speedway in Charlotte, and now we're going to be in Atlanta. So, but this Pennzoil World of Outlaws series, day in, day out, still is damn good entertainment.
Stay tuned to TNN, too. We're going to have some of those IRL races right here on the Nashville Network this year. We're all really excited about that. Should be exciting, especially when we get Jac Haudenschild in an IRL car. That'd be great, wouldn't it? All right, here we go with the C feature getting set to go. These guys just trying to scratch and fight, claw, and kick their way into the B feature.
Flip their way into the B features.
Oh, and Gary Wright having problems on the front straightaway. So I guess we talk more about other stuff.
He was scheduled to start on the outside front row, which if he does restart, he'll go to the tail.
Johnny, while we're down here, we did talk earlier about Jac Haudenschild. Oh, everybody get the yellow.
Do they know he's there? No.
This could be ugly. This could be. Everybody look out.
Mackerel, a lack of communication somewhere.
Johnny, we heard Jac Haudenschild talking earlier about the potential of his opportunity to develop at Indianapolis this year with an IRL ride. We know that J.J. Yaley has been testing lately. A lot of sprint car guys now getting the opportunity. Coming up from those ranks yourself, what does that mean to you, and how's this developing?
Well, I think it's something that we lost. That's where we all came from. You know, Foyt, Barnelli Jones, Roger McCluskey. You know, we all came from sprint cars to Indianapolis, and that was the natural rate of progression. But anymore, with CART, it's road racing, and they want guys that are road racers. And so we're seeing with the IRL the opportunity for the J.J. Yaleys and the Dave Steeles that we just tested at Phoenix to have an opportunity to be ready for this year's 500 if things work out for them. And of course, Jac Haudenschild, trying to get him a test at one of the tracks coming up soon, we hope. If that happens, then it could be, there is outside possibility.
And Steve Kinser told us, well, I may go to Indy and fool around, he said today.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up with Jac Haudenschild, I know that absolutely a dream come true for him if he gets the opportunity.
Yes. I'd love to see Haud and the King coming off at turn 4 to the checkered flag, wouldn't you? Here we come to the green flag.
Right in the cushion at Indy. I said that Gary Wright would have to go to the tail. They conferred with the World of Outlaws officials, and maybe they stopped him for a check, and that's why he started back up there.
Smooth through turns 1 and 2. Good call on that, Brad. That is exactly what happened. Is Shauna Wilski trying to get up into it.
Our only female racer this weekend.
The 21 of Wood is your leader. Good fight for second. That is Gary Wright, and I believe that's Billy Wilburn. And the 0, yes, it is Billy Wilburn off of Rusty Wallace's Winston Cup crew, running in third. Remember, he had all the problems in his heat.
And this is only taking 2 as he goes by the outside.
Look at that.
Johnny Rutherford called it. They watered the top of the racetrack. Might move up there.
There's just a little bit up there, and he found it and made the move on the outside.
That's Myers in the 14 car running in 4th.
Yeah, you can see that they have moved up, finding another groove around the top of the racetrack, which I'm sure surprised a lot of people, and that will help with tire wear if it lasts at least through this, through the C and the B main, but I don't know if it'll be there for the A or not.
One thing we're going to see here real soon is going to be traffic, and that's really going to get interesting.
Yeah, you see Wilbur got way high going in there and gave Gary Wright a chance to get back on the inside, but he's not going to pull it off.
The leader still Wood in the 21W.
Oh,
Wilbur. That allows the door to open up, doesn't it?
Yep, maybe that top is starting to go away already, and
that's going to lose another spot because here comes a 14 car of Myers as well.
All this lap traffic going, that's into turn 3.
Wilburn able to hold off Myers for now.
I think they're pushing the top a little bit too hard. They're breaking through it, and it causes a slide like that, and he lost the positions. He's starting to move back up now.
Here's your leader in the 21W. Danny Wood out of Norman, Oklahoma, and Gary Wright chasing him down. Remember, he didn't think he last second decided to run this. He was maybe not going to even participate in this one.
Yeah, figure what the heck, we transfer, we'll go to the B and see what happens from there.
That berm almost bit him, Brad. The 72 car of Bonini in front of him.
Well, every time he gets up to the 21 of Wood, something happens. He gets pinched in traffic or something. I guess he can't quite get up there, but he knows that he's in the spot he needs to be to get to the into the B main. He's not going to push it or do anything crazy here.
Here he comes off of turn number 4. We'll be seeing the white flag.
Now he closes right back up on him again. Gary Wright Wood right there. This is coming out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Wood's got a clear racetrack in front of him. There's flat cars, but I don't think they'll really hinder him by the time he gets back to the checkered flag.
Here comes the checkered flag, and one car almost just in front of him. He gets the win, does Wood. Wright takes second. Then it's Wilburn, and then the 14 car of Myers. So Wilburn and Myers are not going to make it. 2 should transfer out of this. So that will be Wood in the 21W. And Gary Wright, good thing you decided to run it. He's going on to the B. Dave Reed?
We're down with Sean Finn kicking and clawing, Ralph. They're doing all that and more. They're hammering. Sean, quickly, you're obviously okay. You going to be able to get this car fixed for the B main?
We're going to give it a good shot. I don't know. We got a lot of parts broken. We had the rear end and a couple parts on the front end and fuel cell and the wing, and we had a lot to go. We'll see.
Guys, there are parts laying everywhere down here.
I can't imagine that race car can be made raceable again. Maybe, but I don't know how competitive it's going to be.
Today, people who didn't send the money Western Union and the heartbreak it caused. Meet Sue and her boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend, Mike. What happened, Sue?
My car broke down. I called Mr. Wonderful here. Send money, I said.
And he didn't use Western Union.
No, and it took forever. I had to spend hours with the tow truck guy.
Mm-hmm. Meet Sue's new fiancé, the tow truck guy, Lyle!
Hey, it's your money. Use Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
I started with the original Rogaine. I wanted to fix this, and Rogaine was starting to work. But they said, Mike, switch over to the new Rogaine. That's when my hair coach started noticing.
Looks good, Dad.
With this new extra strength for men, they say 45% more hair is the average. I think I'm going to beat that. Every Sunday, I got 60,000 friends staring at my head, so more hair is a big win.
The new Rogaine, 45% more hair.
I mean, consider the alternative.
This week on Motor Trend, it's the awesome Super Stallion, the newest project from Ford Special Vehicles Engineering. Plus, a look at the Hearst AMC Scrambler. Motor Trend Television, Saturday at 4 on TNN Motorsports.
There have always been great reasons to give diamonds. Now there's a great way to buy them. DCI, the world's finest diamonds, direct to you at prices you can afford. Fully certified and guaranteed. Call DCI and we'll rush you a free diamond pack, including our How to Buy Diamonds video and our beautiful diamond selection guide. With our direct prices and convenient payment plans, buying diamonds can be as easy as giving them. Call DCI and we'll rush your free diamond pack to you with an extra value certificate for extra savings. Now, all you need is a reason.
We're back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. There is a look at the results of the C-Main. It's not Lance Blevins, though. It is Wood in the 21 and Gary Wright in the 9. Those will be the 2 cars that will go on to the B-Main. Let's check in with Bobby.
And the winner of that C-Main did it, Ralph, with a 360 cubic inch motor, which I guess if there's ever a racetrack where that might work, it's this racetrack tonight, right, Danny?
Well, it's not really working because we got 80 pounds up front that you need to transfer on this slick stuff, and I'm having to run the wing way back, and I'm not making good straightaway speed. Plus, something wrong with the motor. It's not cleaning out coming off the corners there. So otherwise, we'd have been faster. Actually, sounds crazy. We would have.
You sounded very unhappy for someone who just won a race.
Well, you always want to go faster in this business. I know who's behind me. You're right. I race with him a lot. He's won the World of Outlaw features, you know. And like I said, you got to have all your ducks in a row if you want to run with Mark, Steve, and Sammy and those guys, and that's where I want to be.
All right, and the big dogs are ready to go right now. It's time for the dash.
When he talks about the 80 pounds, the series he runs, you have to run a steel or cast iron block, and that's where the 80 pounds comes in. He was talking about very critical on a racetrack like this. You want it the front end as light as you can get it to transfer, do wheelies if you have to get the weight to the rear wheels to get better traction.
That's the ASCS series that he runs.
Right, and they mandate a steel block.
What an interesting dash field.
Oh, let's take a look at it. It is going to be a good one. Here is your lineup for tonight's Channel Lock Dash. Jac Haudenschild and Dale Blaney lining up on the front row. Johnny Herrera and Danny Lasowski in row number 2. Andy Hillenburg and Brent Kading in row number 3. Greg Hodnett and Donny Schatz lining up in row number 4. And this will set up the front of the field for the A-Main.
Whoever wins this starts on the front row. You know, Haudenschild has a good starting spot, obviously, on the front, on the bottom of the racetrack. If he can just win this thing and hold them off, that's where he'll start for the A-Main. Very critical.
Now, if you're one of the guys back in rows 2, 3, or 4, you have to be smooth, but you already have a transfer to the A-Main, so you have to be somewhat aggressive because you got to get as good a starting spot as you can in that A-Main if you want a chance to win that A-Main.
Well, you're absolutely right, but you know they all know they're in the A-Main at this point. You crash real hard or tear it up, and you're where you can't fix it, you're done. But you know, it's 30 laps. We saw Jeff Swindell come from back in the pack last year. So the best they can do is it's a short race, finish as well as they can, and try to figure it out for the A-Main. Not take any unnecessary chances.
And that may be the most important thing of all, try to figure it out for the A-Main.
Keep your eyes on Brent Kading in the white and red 2M. He was so strong in a racetrack like this last year.
And he would be so stoked to win this dash. He really would be.
King of California is no slouch in that white and red number 2 next to the black 2 of Andy Hillenburg. Here we go with the Channel Lock Dash. Kading to the outside. Look at that. Yellow.
He'll get a warning for possibly a jump there, and they'll restart him.
To Dave Reed.
I am down with Guy Fulbrook, your driver, starting on the front row. Good place to be on a rough racetrack like this, but you got a few tricks up your sleeve, I'm sure.
Well, I don't know if I got any tricks. We tried something tonight that's completely off the wall right now. We've just been kind of struggling the whole night, and we want to win this race as bad as anybody, and the only way you can win is try something, and we're trying it right now, and hopefully this Pennzoil car will stay on the front.
2 for 2 if they would win tonight, guys.
Jac Haudenschild's Manzanita win last week was his first World of Outlaw victory since 1997, July 5th. Hard to believe, isn't it? Miller Lite news and notes as well. As we get set for the Channel Lock Dash, you see the Las Vegas qualifying for the Winston Cup cars where Dale Jarrett was quick in round number 1 qualifying. The Busch race tomorrow here, and the World of Outlaws run tomorrow night here, and then the Winston Cup cars run on Sunday. The Winston West cars ran on Wednesday. It's been a great speed week here in Las Vegas.
If you like racing, this is where you need to be.
It's been exciting.
You know, this is good for the World of Outlaws and possibly the NASCAR as well, because the people can come out and see both. Maybe they haven't seen it either one of them live. They get a chance to do it both.
It's also wonderful for the city of Las Vegas. You look at all the fans walking down, staring in amazement at New York, and the MGM, got them literally with their mouths hanging up and go, oh my God, I can't believe that.
And it's so neat too to go up and drive up and down and see all the racing sprint car T-shirts or NASCAR T-shirts walking up and down the sidewalks.
Yep. Not to mention World Outlaws. Everybody wants to start like the restart. Rusty Wallet's got it, Daytona.
More green, and Hahn's going to lead him down to the turn number 1. Dale Blaney goes high into the outside. He's got second. Herrera is third. Lasowski was fourth for a short period, and now it's Koenig. But look at Dale Blaney on the outside, really giving a run to Jac Haudenschild.
That only works if you can get grip on that cushion, because it is a longer way around.
The fight for third, a good one as we watch this hot battle for second. There's Herrera. He's got third, and look at Koenig all over the backside of Lasowski. Brandon, that white and red number 2, was a 1997 Vegas NARC Series winner here. He knows how to find victory lane here.
And we mentioned Dale Blaney. For those of you, yes, it is Dale Blaney, not Dave Blaney, who some might not know. Dave moved on to Busch cars, and this is his younger brother Dale taking over the 93 Amoco car.
What a great battle for fourth. Look at that as Koenig puts a slide job on Lasowski. Dale Blaney has lost a lot of ground to Jac Haudenschild, who has now really opened up a big gap. There's Haud right there.
Whatever,
the yellow 22. The white flag is
whatever
out.
it is that Forbrook would have tried, right now they have to be liking it, because he's getting around pretty darn good.
He said it was something so off the wall, nobody would believe it.
Well, I mentioned earlier, Steve, yes, it's a guessing game on the chassis setup, and sometimes you just have to throw reason out the window and try something.
The Wild Child takes the win. Dale Blaney's going to take second. Herrera's going to get third. Koenig's going to take fourth. Give fifth to Andy Hillenburg. Sixth to Lasowski. Then it's going to be Schatz and Hodman. Well, we thought last week at Manzanita that maybe Forbrook was crazy, but he found his way to victory lane. And they're going to do it again here tonight. These guys are on a tear.
Keeps millions of Americans glued to their TVs every night. It's not the game shows, reruns, or the news. It's because they suffer from not sleeping, and they believe there is nothing they can do about it. But there are new ways to treat their problem, and newer prescription medications that can help.
Maybe we should see the doctor.
Sleep. It doesn't have to be a dream.
Honey, drink your orange juice. There you go.
Finally, in health news, the American Cancer Society reports that along with a healthy diet, drinking more Florida orange juice may actually reduce your risk of some cancers. Hey, how about that? Well, that's news up to the minute. Updates on the quarter hour. It's now 23 minutes past.
100% pure Florida orange juice. Are you drinking enough?
Jaws will drop and eyebrows will raise as you watch drivers walk away from white-knuckle crashes. NHRA, monster trucks, NASCAR, boats, and more. It's all here. Call 1-800-396-5444 and order your copy of And They Walked Away 5.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're set to go with some B-feature stuff as they're pushing those cars out onto the racetrack. But Jac Haudenschild has already found his way to victory lane in the channel lock dash.
And Ralph, he is hoping that he's going to be back here after tonight's feature event. Jack, you have an excellent chance to go 2 for 2 now after winning last week at Manzanita. Guy Forbrook, we heard from him during the dash, said he tried something radical on the car. Do you even talk with him about what he's doing to your car, or do you just get in and drive it?
Well, no, he kind of tells me if he makes a big radical change on the car. He tells me, so I kind of know what to expect. And he just tried something different there in the dash, and we're just gonna get hooked up for a dry, slick track tonight.
Well, everybody's pretty tight-lipped. Guy wouldn't say what it was. I mean, you know. What was it, Jack?
Well, we changed, actually, we just changed the torsion bars and the shocks in the car and just trying another setup. The Pennzoil car, it's, you know, it's been pretty quick here the first couple of races, and we're going to change a few things around yet for the feature and see if we can get a little better and just go from there.
All right, he was awfully fast. Congratulations, Jack. And guys, it's now time for the Wild and the Woolly. Steve Evans' favorite race, the B-Main.
It is my favorite race. I was waiting for Jac Haudenschild to say, Bobby, if I tell you, I have to kill you.
Don't forget the CarQuest Cavalcade of Sprints. You can see that. We stuck around in Manzanita and taped it. We wouldn't miss a World of Outlaw race. Saturday, March 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see the whole thing, and you can watch Jac Haudenschild take the checkered flag at Manzanita. Dave Reef?
Dale Blaney, you started to the outside of Jac Haudenschild. Maybe found a little advantage around the top side. Do you think it's going to stay?
Well, there's a thin line out there, and it's laid down a little bit, quite a bit of rubber getting off both corners. So I think you can get in a little harder on the top, but you can get off a little bit better on the bottom. So, you know, you might be able to get up there in a little bit of traffic.
Quite possibly a racetrack getting just a little bit better, guys.
When we come back, we'll have the lineup and the opening laps of the B-Main, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
Nighttime in the big city. You walk past jazz clubs that leak the sounds of saxophone and scat into the street. You walk past antique shops crammed full of yesterday, past a well-heeled out of a playhouse. You're following your nose to a French bistro, and you see the sign in the window. All spirits 50% off. You think, huh? And then it hits you. You must be in Texas.
A more unique vacation experience than you ever imagined. To Texas. It's like a whole other country.
Not again.
I was a 98-pound weakling.
Bully.
Then I called for the free Texas travel guide. It's swell. Everywhere I go, I carry the entire state of Texas with me. From the canyons of Big Bend to the big city. And thanks to the Texas travel guide, I found the beaches where the people are friendly.
Howdy.
No more sand in the face for me.
For your free Texas travel guide, call 1-800-8888-TEX.
Every day brings a familiar challenge.
Go ahead. Pack my lunch.
Some constructive criticism.
I might fancy something from south of the border.
And subtle hints. Real subtle.
Did I mention tacos?
Lunchables Taco Bell tacos. Soft tortillas, real taco filling, cheese and sauce. And there's no need to heat them.
Thank you kindly, Ma.
Lunchables tacos. Make fun of lunch.
Hey, guys, look what I got.
Got a clog? Get the best clog remover. Is it Liquid Plumber or Drano? Actually, professional strength Liquid Plumber clog remover works twice as fast. Yes, there is a best.
I'm a runner. I run a restaurant. And when I eat, it's on the run.
V8 isn't just juice, it's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
Over 30 years ago in our laboratories, eye care was revolutionized with the introduction of Visine. Today, our latest advance, an even better Visine. New Advanced Relief Visine. Its unique formula gets the red out, plus more. This computer image of an irritated eye simulates how Advanced Relief Visine spreads the cooling, soothing, refreshing relief of 3 moisturizers. Discover how good your eyes can feel with new Advanced Relief Visine. Advanced Relief for irritated eyes.
TNN's live coverage of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws continues from Las Vegas with our B-Main starting grid. Look at this. Jeff Swindell and Peter Murphy on the front row. Sammy Swindell and Mark Kinser on row 2. I said B feature.
That's right.
Sean Fenn, Randy Hannigan, row 3. Tyler Walker in row 4. I said B feature. Look at row 5. I mean, it just continues on back through this thing. Bobby McMahon, Sid Blanford, Kevin Pilot. Donny Schatz is not supposed to be in this one. He is not in the B. He is already on to the A. Pinniger, Brazier, he is definitely in here in the back of this deal. And Blevins? No, Blevins is gone. He's already in. We're looking at Wood, the 21W. Unbelievable, though, the front part of that B feature.
Yeah, Sammy's sitting back there just hoping Jeff opens the hole up for him and coming out of turn 4 and into turn 1.
If Mark Kinser wins the B, the best he could start in the A would be 9th behind the dash cars, and he was the man who set quick time in qualifying.
12 laps, 4 transfers.
It's tough. It's tough.
Unbelievable. Here we go. Jeff Swindell got hung up on the berm, and Murphy jumps into the lead. Not for long. Here comes Mark Kinser's working 5M, and it is working good. New nose to the front.
Boy, does it look goofy.
Looks pretty when it's leading, though, I guess.
It'll become beautiful very quickly.
Beetle bug.
Sammy holds on to the final transfer spot right now. He is in 4th behind brother Jeff. There's the gap. And look at all the people chasing him, including Bobby McMahon in the 88 car. Tyler Walker's up above them in the black 35, and Randy Hannigan below him in the 1X in the black car. Those guys all out of a transfer spot right now.
Yeah, Sammy doesn't want to make any mistakes. Those guys are right there.
Mark is checking out. Mark Kinser is checking out on this one. Here comes Jeff Swindell for second inside of Murphy. Sammy is having a hard time catching them, but he has pulled away from Bobby McMahon. And that's way behind Peter Murphy. Peter Murphy might make the A-main here. He's got a good, solid run going.
Yep, just keeps his nose clean, stays out of trouble. There was Jeff Swindell, Murphy, and there's Sammy with McMahon in the 88. That's into turn 1.
McMahon's not letting it get away. If McMahon can get around Sammy, that would be huge.
Oh, boy, yeah. Again, these guys have provisionals. You know, if they don't make it through the B, they could take a provisional.
Yeah, but you got 100-plus nights still to go. You'd hate to use one of only 2 provisionals that you get on the second race of the season.
Yes, Jeff Swindell did last day.
That's right.
The first race of the season, so, boy, they don't want to use it if they can.
Mark now working traffic, and that could be a problem, Steve.
It sure could be, but for a man with the kind of car control, look at this. And he's not afraid to take it up to the middle of the racetrack, not at all.
And Jeff's starting to catch him. Jeff Swindell is not far behind him as we look at Murphy. There's Jeff in the red 104.
I tell you, I wouldn't count Mark Kinser out of the
look out!
Starting point if he starts 9th. Oh, man.
Blanford almost lost it right in front of Jeff Swindell.
Yeah, there's nothing Jeff could have done there like we've seen before. When a guy gets sideways, the D speeds, you just can't maneuver around him.
Well, you know, one reason why Murphy's having such a good night is because, don't forget, it was just finishing up summertime down under. He's been racing for 7 straight months.
Yeah, he's had a full season. A lot of these guys,
he's in the groove.
Yeah, and it takes a while. It takes a race or two. Now, these guys are professionals, but it just takes a while to get a new car worked out, get your rhythm going as a driver, get to working with the crew chief again, and finding out what you like.
Not a lot of orange in the paint scheme on the 5M this year as well, so it probably is a little bit harder for you folks to pick them out. That's it right there. Frazier struggling on the bottom of the Mopar. He's not going to make it.
Well, Mark knows he's got a big lead. He's not going to press any of this traffic, get too close to him, make them make a mistake.
One thing Carl Kinser said he wanted to do was get this new nose out front and win with it early to give the rest of the field something to start thinking about. Carl Kinser loves to play head games.
He is the best by far at it. And you win a bunch of races, that's a big enough head game to get everybody scratching, let alone to pull something off and have something unique.
You know, the radiator is mounted sideways. They were a little concerned about engine overheating, but they really haven't found out that's going to be a problem. It was so cool in Phoenix and cold here. Yeah. It's going to take a hot summer night before they really.
Well, they've seen other guys. There are some other teams that run them Haudenschild. Some of them do run them sideways, but with this hood configuration, they weren't sure if it'd get enough air through it or not. And so far, it's been working.
Mark gets the win. Jeff gets second. He'll go on, and here comes the fight to the checkered flag. Murphy takes third. Sammy takes fourth. McMahon, Hannigan, and Tyler Walker done for the night. Tough night here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, real tough.
And you know, Carl Kinser was perched on the fence over there watching every move that 5M car made. And will have just the right changes to make. If it needs any changes, it may be just fine.
It took second place last week at Manzanita behind Haudenschild. And now tonight, it's going on to the A-main. He's got a long way to go, though, in that A-main. A lot of people are going to be lining up for hot chocolate. It's pretty cold out there tonight.
This NASCAR 50th anniversary moment is brought to you by Pep Boys.
It was a sunny afternoon on June 19, 1949. 33 cars rolled to the green flag at the three-quarter-mile dirt Charlotte Motor Speedway for the first officially sanctioned, strictly stock car race.
Looking for a filter for your Ferrari or an alternator for your Accord? Can't find that water pump for your Wrangler or the timing chain for your Taurus? No matter what you drive, from bearings for your Beamer to a V-belt for your Volkswagen, Pep Boys has it. If you want it, you've got it. Virtually any part for any vehicle. And I'll get any ProStart 75-month battery for only $29.99 after rebate. Save up to $60. All ProStart 75-month batteries now just $29.99. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
More than 13,000 fans congregated in Charlotte, North Carolina to watch men like Red Byron, Curtis Turner, Buck Baker, the Flock brothers, and the leading women's driver in the country, Sarah Christian, stir up some dust for 200 laps in Hudsons, Fords, Cadillacs, Buicks, and several other makes of automobiles. The drivers slugged it out right down to the checkered flag, with Glenn Dunaway crossing the line first. Dunaway was later disqualified for using illegal springs in his car. The $2,000 first place money went to Jim Roper, with Bunty Flock second and Red Byron third.
This is one of those new Volvos with all-wheel drive, right?
Yes. It's our newest safety feature, designed to help keep you out of an accident.
So how come you don't put it on all your cars?
All our cars.
Like Subaru does.
Subaru.
Every Subaru we make comes with the safety of all-wheel drive. Every wagon, every coupe, every sedan.
So only one Volvo has all-wheel drive, but they all have cup holders.
Yeah.
Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
Darren Valve is running, late model, #1 driver.
Welcome back to Las Vegas. Here's our May Locks Minute, and things got off a little rough earlier tonight. In heat number 2, Billy Wilburn in the 0 got involved in that one, and then look at this one. That's Rick Zeal in the middle of this one in the 18 with Terry McCarl, neighbors in that, and then it was all Sean Finn in heat number 5, flipping the green 36 through the nighttime sky here in Las Vegas. We're back now to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where we're getting set for the A main, which will be coming up shortly, but let's check in first with Bobby Jarrell.
And here is the winner of the B main who advances to the A main. That is Mark Kinser. And Mark, it doesn't happen to you too often in your career. What was the B main like for you? Were you able to learn something?
Well, actually, you know, Bob, we did learn something. With the sun going down, they added some water to the track, and it's made it a lot more racy. And, you know, the guys are working thrashing right now just to get us to the main. And I want to say hi to my little boy, Cole, back home. I haven't seen him for a while. Him and Rachel Marie Fortner. I'll be home Sunday. I love you guys.
All right, let's talk about the work going on right now on the left front of the car. Mark, we heard you say that maybe you had a brake lockup problem?
Yeah, there are a couple times I tried a couple different grooves, and I really got on the brakes excessively hard, and it seemed like it actually locked up for a second. And in sprint car racing, you have a brake on the left and none on the right. And if you got a brake malfunction, it'll actually turn the car into the infield. And we're checking that out right now. And as you can see on the rotor itself, where it's turned white there by the brake caliper itself, we've definitely had a malfunction.
All right, so Mark Kinser and Dennis Kohler, Carl Kinser, the whole crew getting a good look at it down here right now, along with Jamie.
Yeah, you can see something's rubbed the rotor, and that will lock the left front, and when it does, it turns the car sideways.
Mugging for the camera.
Okay, so often, I think all of us who have commented on this sport have made an analogy between these sprint cars and bucking bulls, you know, the unpredictability and the sheer power of the short wheelbase, like a bull. Well, Pamela, have you found a real bull rider?
I sure have. You know, the world of outlaws is very, very established. We're 20 years old, in fact. Did you know that? How old is the Professional Bull Riders Association?
PBR is fairly young. We're only in our 5 year. We were incorporated 5 years ago.
And you are the CEO, Randy?
Yes, ma'am.
That is so cool. Now, how did this whole thing get started?
Well, the top 20 bull riders in the world got together 6 years ago and tried to create a sport that was star-driven. The top bulls in the world against the top cowboys. They put $1,000 each together, $20,000, and they rode for $80,000 that first year. Yeah. Now they're riding for over $4.5 million.
Woo! That's some serious coinage.
Serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
No kidding. What's your next major event?
Well, we're in Topeka, Kansas this Sunday night on TNN, and then March 6th and 7th, we go live to Washington, D.C. There'll be a lot of bull in D.C. that weekend.
Yeah, sounds like it. Well, you having fun tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you guys having fun up there?
Absolutely, Pamela. That was a great line. That's what we need. More comedians on this shoot, Ralph.
Oh, yeah. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The A-Main still to go. 30 laps here in Las Vegas.
Hey, listen up. Honda dealers are offering 5% financing and no down payment on all new Valkyries.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
On the next Hot Rod TV. The return of Project Pony. We built a 9-inch rear end on our 5-liter Mustang. Saturday at 4:30 on TNN.
I love being a mom, but I was still miserable because I was so heavy, and I knew I had to do something. I lost over 50 pounds on the Slim Fast plan. Just keep them in the fridge, grab them, shake them up, have my lunch while I'm feeding him. It's just such a healthy drink.
23 vitamins and minerals, protein, calcium, fiber, all the balanced nutrition like a healthy meal.
Oh, I feel very healthy, and I have to be to keep up with him.
Slim Fast, balanced nutrition for a healthy life.
What more could you want?
Hi, I'm the Opry's Captain Bob, here to invite you on the second annual Grand Ole Opry Cruise.
Join Jenny Seeley
and Johnny Russell,
along with Little Jimmy Dickens and other Opry favorites, May 2nd through 9, as we tour the Caribbean on Carnival Sensation. We'll have sensational islands to explore,
sensational opportunities for us to become friends,
and sensational food to eat.
And you'll be entertained.
We'll see to that with private concerts just for you.
It's Caribbean Cruising Country Style, May 2nd through 9, and we want you on board.
With Mark Kinser and Sandy Swindell in tow. At 5 minutes to 3 in the morning in Eldora, Ohio, Dave Blaney has claimed the win on the morning before the King's Royal.
We're back at the Silver State Shootout. What a huge, huge crowd. A lot of the Winston Cup fans that have come from the racetrack on the other side of this 1,500-acre facility. Bush race tomorrow and Cup on Sunday. We're all looking forward to that. You know, nobody comes to Las Vegas for reality, especially not Dusty Rhodes. But virtual reality, well, that's really fantasy, if you get my drift. Dusty did.
You talk about madness. When you in Las Vegas right here, Sahara Speedway, I can't tell you about the interactive virtual reality. We're talking about getting inside the cockpit, getting behind the wheel, and feeling just as real as you can feel without owning your own race team. You don't want to miss this stuff. This is the deal. This ain't no arcade game. No, this ain't just go up and punch a button and race somebody in an arcade game. This is virtual reality at its best. I mean, if I was going to compare to something, it would be like if you learned to drive a tank. You want to drive a tank for real, interactive virtual reality right here in Las Vegas, Sarah Speedway. And speaking of a girl that just finished, lovely Pamela, whoa! Oh, man, look, Earl Sride's going to have some business if she keep hitting them walls. Anyway, just got out the car. Tell him, darling, how was it?
It was the bomb.
Ooh.
It was the bomb. We were on fire going around those corners. Dusty was coaching me from behind. I was on it, man. I was on it. I had it, too, and then I crashed into that wall and... Well, you know, you take your hits, but, baby, we were on fire. Were we on fire?
We were on fire.
Yeah,
Let's
teamwork.
go back to the track, Jack.
Interesting choice of words. We have a Jack on the pole for the A feature, which is only minutes away. Let's quick to a whip around down through the pits with Bobby Gerald.
And starting on the outside of Jac Haudenschild will be number 93, driven by Dale Blaney. He's a two-time All-Star champion, and, of course, we've told you all about Dale taking over the ride that his brother used to have here and working with Kenny Woodruff. And Dale, an excellent opportunity for you tonight, but you have to start on the outside, and that hasn't been the best place so far this evening.
Not exactly, but we kind of got a good run off there in a dash and, you know, held our position pretty well. So we're going to search around and see what we can find.
All right, good luck to you, Dale.
Thanks.
This is the team that last year won the Gold Cup and the big one, and the Knoxville Nationals, Dave Reef.
Bobby, Johnny Herrera's quietly been doing what an Outlaw driver should do. 6th qualifier, 4th in his heat, 3rd in the dash, strapping in for the A-main. Johnny, hey, have maybe a number 1 tonight. All these numbers keep adding up.
Well, we got off to a pretty good start tonight.
Car number 2M, and Billy, you guys have been ultra fast already tonight, and you've won here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the past. What's it going to take to win this one tonight?
Well, really right now, Bobby, is the choice of tires. We've just been, every time we come in, we've been putting new tires on the back of the car, and we started out with the softer compound and hot laps. We've been working up harder, and harder, and hopefully we made the right choice for the feature. And if we did, I think we'll be right up front at the end of the 30 laps.
Brent Kading and Billy Albini and their team going on the McCreary tires tonight, guys.
Those guys have won here at Las Vegas in the NARC Series last year. They know how to find victory lane here. We're going to have the A feature when we come back.
This is Mission Control. We have a rotational shutdown. Copy?
Houston, you have a problem. Stand by.
When you need a grip on life's little challenges, get a grip on Channel Lock.
This is Mission Control. Thanks, guys. Nice pliers.
Whatever a great vacation sounds like to your family, you'll find it in Tennessee. Experience new adventures at the world's largest freshwater aquarium. Catch some waves at one of our great attractions. Or you can just enjoy the sounds of the wildlife.
Whatever sounds good to you. Sounds like Tennessee to me.
For your free vacation guide, call 1-800-GO-TO-TENNESSEE, extension 3.
Look what Daddy gets. Looks good, huh? You eat those peas? This is Daddy's.
When you make a Spamburger hamburger,
Ain't all mine.
watch out.
Perfect.
Because the premium pork and ham, spiced to perfection, makes Spam so good, it's gone. Spam, so good, it's gone.
We all know how a dog reacts when he sees something he really likes. Unexpectedly, I've noticed the same behavior on this young man.
I can't control my arm. Stop! I can't control my arm.
Can you turn this into something good?
Motor Madness, brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time.
Welcome back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The cars are getting pushed out, including the 2M of Brent Kading as he just rolls out. He's going to start on the outside of row number 2. Well, we've talked a lot upstairs about what we can expect out of this A feature. Let's go downstairs and talk to the two guys who have been working out in the cold tonight. Bobby, Gerald, let's start with you. What have you seen in the pits before we get this A feature underway?
Well, I think tire wear has been the biggest concern all night long, and it's interesting. We just spoke with Scott Gurk and the crew chief for Steve Kinser. They do have a 40 series Goodyear on the right rear right now. That's about the next to the hardest Goodyear tire that you'll see any of these teams run. So we would expect tire wear to be critical, especially if this one keeps dragging on and on and on and on. Dave Reef?
That's right, Bob, and it seems like most everybody's running that 40 compound on the right rear as far as the Goodyears go with the 25C on the inside. Sammy Swindell, Donny Schatz, those guys doing just exactly that. Do want to watch out, though, for Jeff Swindell. He's starting 12th tonight, but, guys, we've seen him come from the back, even right here just last November.
You know, we're talking about these tires. I talked to Sammy Swindell a couple weeks ago, and when he helped develop the Goodyear tire, the 60, they came out with the 60. Then they came out with a 40. They thought that was a soft tire. Nowadays, those are considered hard. They came out with a new 20 soft sidewall, It's for slower, slicker racetracks. Obviously, they're not using it tonight. So, but the tire wear isn't as bad as we had seen earlier. They got some of the crumbs blown off the racetrack that helps tear the tires up, and now they're back to a 40.
You know, some of these superstars that are starting in the 5th row and back, like Mark Kinser and Sammy Swindell, they're probably going to need a couple of cautions if they're going to win this thing. I doubt they can do it if it runs green on this slick racetrack, but cautions don't seem to be back-ordered here at Las Vegas tonight.
Stevie Smith will be carrying our jet hot onboard camera and his Ingersoll Rand number 19, and he's going to be starting deep in the field here tonight, so we'll have some great shots of racing up through the pack with him. And I think there are some names that we've talked about all night, Brad, that are in this A feature. They've worked hard to get here, such as Sammy Swindell and Andy Hillenburg, but they've had some big hiccups along the way. How bad is the front of Andy Hillenburg's car after he tore it all up earlier on tonight? Has Sammy Swindell finally figured out the car coming out of gear and getting that all set up so that he won't have any problems with it? Will these problems plague these guys? Stay with us to find out. We'll be back for the A feature from Las Vegas right after this.
It's out there waiting. And in all our years of experience, we've learned one thing. You're not the only one who depends on good brakes. With upfront pricing at Midas, we first perform a 45-point inspection to find what repairs are needed and what can wait, so you only pay what we quote you. Come into Midas today, because you never know what you might run into next.
Your room, Grammy, and there's the phone. Feel free.
But your phone bill.
Oh, don't be silly. Just dial 10321 first.
Why?
It saves me money.
Well, maybe a few quick calls.
Good. 10321 saves on quick calls.
I won't talk long.
Oh, talk all you want. It saves 50% off calls over 20 minutes.
I won't call far.
Call anywhere. International rates are great, too. Just dial 10321, then the number as usual. Anything else?
Privacy would be nice.
Love lobster? It's Lobster Fest at Red Lobster with the lowest Lobster Fest prices in 6 years. Dive into some new tastes as well as old favorites. So get cracking. Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
Are you running on all 8 cylinders?
I'm a runner, a mother, a wannabe computer nerd.
V8 isn't just juice. It's a full serving of the vegetables you need to keep you running on all 8 cylinders.
How many cylinders are you running on?
Experience Country.com, your personal source for all things country. From race cars to country stars. Connect to TNN and CMT with music bits and video clips. Country.com, your personal source for all things country.
How fast is a speeding bullet?
Sizzling hot country group Ricochet. Plus, the ever-popular Susie Boggess makes special guest appearances on the Statler Brothers Show. Saturday, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, TNN.
The A feature, the Silver State Shootout from Las Vegas, Nevada, live here on TNN with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Here comes your 4 abreast. The salute to the fans. They'll get it all lined up. Bring it around the back straightaway. The fans sitting out there in the cold come up from the pit area. A lot of people out here tonight to watch the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Winston Cup driver Kenny Schrader in the crowd here tonight upstairs, as is Tony Stewart. Everybody coming out to watch the Outlaws. And here's your A feature lineup. Jac Haudenschild and Dale Blaney in row number 1. Johnny Herrera and Brent Cady making up row number 2. That's going to be interesting. Andy Hillenburg and Danny Lasowski in row number 3. Donny Schatz and Greg Honditz, Vibrant number 11/8, making up row number 4. Look at row 5. Mark Kinser and Sammy Swindell. Right behind him comes Jeff Swindell alongside of Peter Murphy. Terry McCarl and Joe Gertie. Stevie Smith coming all the way from row number 8 alongside of Dion Hinby. Look at row 9, as that's where you'll find the king of the Outlaws, over 400 A-feature wins. Steve Kinser starts on the outside of John Bankston. Scott Whitworth and Lance Blevins in row 10. Steve Coelho makes the A feature along with Calvin Landis. Jason Long and Craig Delansky get in. They're in row 12.
You can also tag on Gary Brazier. The Mopar car has taken a provisional and will tag the field.
Steve Kinser back there, but like I said earlier, he does not quit till it's over with.
I made a point about needing yellows to not lose touch with the leader. You have another point on the yellows.
Yeah, not only does it keep them up with the leaders, keep them bunched up to progress and get through, it keeps them from getting lapped. In sprint car racing, if you get lapped, there are no pit stops to try to get it back. It's not a long race. Once you get lapped, you're done. So the yellows will be critical for the guys starting in the back.
Jac Haudenschild in the Pennzoil 22 starts on the bottom on the inside of row number 1. That is by far the place to be here tonight.
I've got a feeling we're in for a very interesting, intense A feature.
Here we go. We're going green, coming to the flag. Everybody through 1 and 2. Dale Blaney is leading this one down the back straightaway.
And it's a big lead.
And we cannot give enough to Dale Blaney. He has done a tremendous job of filling in for Dave Blaney, who is now ventured on to the Busch Series.
So Dale is a candidate for Rookie of the Year, and here he leads the A feature in the second race of the 20th anniversary season.
Brent Kading and Johnny Herrera battling it out here. This is a fight for third. Brent Kading upstairs in the DuPont 2 car. Herrera downstairs in the white and blue number 47, the Casey General Stores car.
I'm telling you, Blaney is going to be in traffic if it stays green within another lap and a half.
He is pulling away, Steve. You're right. He is. Kenny Woodruff has this thing dialed in right now, just pulling away.
Donny Schatz racing with Jeff Swindell as we watch the battles back in traffic. Sammy Swindell just in front of them.
The guys are worried about a one-lane racetrack all around the bottom. Boy, they throw that out the window now because they're all over the racetrack.
Best fight on the track is this one for third with Brent Kading and Johnny Herrera. Herrera still can. Here comes Mark Kinser. How ugly is that hood when it's making its way up to the front? Mark Kinser riding up top too,
He's got a run on Johnny Herrera off of turn 2. He takes it down the back straightaway.
That car handling beautiful. Nothing wrong with the 5M working car. Now he's going after Kading.
Now remember, these cars don't have mirrors. Kading doesn't know he's back there, and Mark's going to sneak by him just like he did Johnny Herrera on the top and probably surprise these guys that he's that fast around the outside.
Kading thought that was Herrera back there, and he's going to get a big wake-up call all of a sudden. Now look at Kading blocking upstairs, and Mark drops to the bottom.
Well, Kading came up on that lap car and moved to the top, and Mark still got around him.
Mark needs that yellow. He needs at least one of them.
Big time, Steve. Good point. Working around lap traffic right now. They work around the A car of Bankston. Landis in there as well, the white 70 car. Mark's working machine starting to pull away now. A solid hold on third. Second place belongs to the 22 car of Haudenschild, but this is the leader, Blaney, and here comes Haudenschild right behind him.
Dale Blaney got caught up behind the lap cars there, Brazier, and couldn't get through, and Haudenschild was able to close right up on him.
Huge experience advantage for Haudenschild as far as dealing with the traffic is concerned. He'll be playing Blaney 2 or 3 cars ahead of him.
Absolutely, Steve. As we go on board with Stevie Smith, the Jet Hot onboard camera coming up from deep in the field. The Ingersoll Rand back driver doing a great job here tonight. Blaney, a 2-time All-Star champ, trying to get a World of Outlaws victory here tonight.
Dale Blaney was an All-Star champ in 1995, and his brother Dale won the World of Outlaws championship. So it was a nice championship family that year.
And you know his brother has got to be here watching this effort right now. I mean, he's racing tomorrow next door.
Yep.
We talked about this track being a great equalizer, and how is that playing out here in this fight for the lead, Brad?
Well, it is. You know, you talked about the horsepower. You just throw the horsepower right out the window. It's chassis setup, tire selection, and boy, it's making for some great racing
and
right
driver
now.
skill. Let's not forget that combined.
Jac Haudenschild, there he is, trying to get his 23rd career World of Outlaw victory. And look at this fight. Sammy Swindell in the Chadlock number 1, trying to fend off our onboard camera. Stevie Smith, how close to the berm do you get?
Right there, just nipping at it. That's off of turn 2, down the back straightaway.
That was the point of no return right there.
There's Haudenschild running second.
Mark Kinser inside of Jac Haudenschild and Coelho as well. A lap car. That moves him to second.
And Mark closing right up right there on Dale Blaney. If Dale makes any mistake at all, Mark is going to get by.
As I was saying earlier, he doesn't need any caution. This man can do it in this race for 30 laps.
How ugly is that hood now? Oh my, is he going to get a win with that hood? It's got a Volkswagen sticker on the nose because it
with that whole nose.
Here's the lead change.
Oh, my Lord.
Look at this.
Look at
to the bottom with Schatz in front of him. Can Mark Kinser pull it off?
Yep, there he goes. He's got it. Now he has to go to the inside of Donny Schatz. He's moving all over the racetrack and making that thing work. Boy, Carl.
Is the hood helping him, do you think?
There's Dennis.
There's Carl. Is the hood helping? Is it changing the effect of the way the air's flowing over?
Boy, this racetrack, I'd have to say no. I think it's more chassis setup the way Carl has the suspension set than the hood.
If it's helping anywhere, it's cleaning up the air that flows under the big wing, which is anti-downforce. That may be the only place that's actually a big factor.
I agree with you, Brad. I think it's all Carl Kinser on the setup here tonight. But I'll tell you what it's going to do. As we watch some Stevie Smith's manage, it's going to make the other guys think,
isn't it? Make them wonder, Carl could take the hood off and win. You know, we all know that. So,
good call, Brad.
I'm not so sure that's really it. But Steve Kinser. We just saw him with Stevie Smith.
And Greg Hodden as well in the yellow 11H, and Whitworth just in front of them. These guys all battling deep in the field as they all had very, very poor starting positions here tonight. Steve Kinser on the bottom. Look at the fight for second. Blaney up top trying to hold off Jac Haudenschild.
They both had to go around that lap car, and Dale was real high, and Jack was even higher yet. Thought he had a line. Probably thought he was going to get by, but they both just slid way up against the fence.
There's Terry McCarles, 24. Here's that fight for second. Haudenschild downstairs. He's got him.
That's off of turn 4 down the front straightaway.
This race is half over. In fact, a little more than that. About 13 laps to go.
Blaney's best career World of Outlaw finish was a third at Chico of the Gold Cup. That would tie him here tonight. Whitworth slowing on the front straightaway. This could bring out a yellow. He pulls to the infield. Will stay green.
Yeah, he's out of the way, Ralph.
That's Kinser right in front of you, and you're with Stevie Smith trying to get around him for position.
10 laps left, guys.
And I saw that myself a lot following Steve Kinser. You get to see it there at home what it looks like to follow Steve Kinser now.
And pass him upstairs, too.
Well, this is off of turn 2. Steve's got to run on the bottom. Going to move up in front of him.
Great racing with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws 20th anniversary season. If this is what we're going to see all year long, it's going to be another great year with the Outlaws. Stevie Smith still working that cushion. Jeff Swindell just behind these two. Steve holding him off.
And who would have thought, with all of the tire problems, the loose racetrack, so many good drivers starting in the middle field trying to fight their way to the front, that we would see this kind of green racing. I'm not saying it's going to be green to the end, but this is pretty amazing.
Well, these guys, when you get to the A mains, Steve, you well know, these are the professional guys. These are the guys that make a living and race in all kinds of conditions.
Well, I remember Manzanita last Saturday night.
Well, everybody has a bad night.
An hour and a half to run the A main.
Mark Kinser looking to get another career feature A main win. He's got 88 of them right now. Look at this, Sammy Swindell on the top, the channel lock blue number 1. That's Brent Kading below him in the white and red number 2. Those two fighting it out for position. There's Bankston in front of him. Lap traffic as they got Johnny Herrera as well in front of them. So this has got to be up inside the top 5. That's probably for 4th position, I got to believe. Now we're told 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
I'll tell you, folks, you have to bear with it. There's racing all over this racetrack. It's hard to keep up with where everybody's running, all the positions changing. What a great race we're having here again.
There's Lasowski in the mix as well. The beat factor's 83. Steve Kinser, did you see the move he put on the inside of Kading?
Unbelievable.
Now you know why we call him the king.
Never giving up. Never just fighting and scratching for every position.
Just like you said, and that's the kind of consistency that makes a difference over the whole season. And Mark Kinser coming up to try to lap these guys. How tough has he been here tonight? Look at that.
Now, look at that. Look at that. Brent Kading's running so good. There's Mark Kinser up to lapping.
White flag is coming out next time by Mark Kinser. Just decimating the field here tonight in Vegas.
I hereby nominate the 5M car for best appearing car of the event.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They all look good in the winner's circle, don't they?
Beauty is as beauty runs, buddy, in this game.
Carl Kinser has done it. He's going to win with the new hood as Mark Kinser brings the working 5M to the victory lane area. Checkered flag here tonight at Las Vegas. The Silver State Shootout goes to Mark Kinser. And here here comes the rest of the pack to the line. Look at this. Herrera trying to hold off Sammy. He does. Steve follows him across. Unbelievable night of racing here with the Pennzoil World of Outlaws. Let's check in with Dave Reed.
Carl, all you wanted to do was win with this new car. You didn't just win, you dominated.
Well, good. We was good all night. We just had fast time, and the racetrack had the loose marbles all over it, or stones, and we had a bad starting position from the outside, and we just couldn't make it in the top four. And but the feature come along, we kind of showed them who's boss.
I've never seen you so animated. You enjoyed this one, didn't you?
Well, it's tough track start ninth in. I mean, we had it right, you know. And I'll say one thing, my boy done a hell of a job of driving.
Yes, he did, Carl. Mark Kinser proving once again why he belongs with the upper echelon of World of Outlaw drivers. Could it be another championship season for him? We'll see.
As you may have read on the internet, in a national tasting of regular and ice beers, brewmasters and beer experts named Old Milwaukee the best tasting beer in America. And this just in. Old Milwaukee Light has won the gold medal for best tasting light beer, beating every other major light beer for taste. Judge for yourself. Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, America's best tasting beers.
At Pennzoil, we know brutal driving doesn't just take place on a racetrack. It begins at the end of your driveway. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. If this reminds you of your commute, we recommend you use Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving.
Morning, Bob. Morning, Henry.
Stop, go. Pennzoil.
You're invited to Springfield, Missouri for the 1998 World's Fishing Fair, March 25th through the 29th, featuring top fishing pros and free seminars, all at Bass Pro Shop's Outdoor World, Missouri's #1 attraction. While you're here, visit Fantastic Caverns, America's only ride-through cave. It's all in Springfield, Ozark Mountain Country's big city, just 30 minutes from Branson. Call now for your free Springfield travel kit.
Girls know exactly what we want. Of course, we're so much smarter. And much more mature.
Now your kids can enjoy great tasting all-white meat chicken tenders shaped like their favorite Rugrats.
We're back, and folks, you know, we were just talking about it up here in the booth. They started in the B feature, which obviously is a place to come to start from when you come to Las Vegas. They started 9th in the A feature. They did it without any yellows. Mark Kinser and Carl Kinser did a fantastic job here tonight getting this car to Victory Lane. Let's go down to Victory Lane and Bobby Gerald.
And Mark Kinser, the happy winner down here. And Mark, your father said it all. He said, our car was nice tonight, but my kid is one heck of a race driver, and that was spectacular. Ninth to first.
Well, you know, we kind of struggled there in our heat race, and you know, like I said all night, our crew stayed right there, you know, and they got this Ray Williams, Phil Durr's working car right up front, and it was a real joy to run. And you know, as night got a little long, and the feature went green to checkered, so it shows what these Outlaw boys can do.
You saw Dale Blaney and Jac Haudenschild in your viewfinder. Tell us about the move for the lead.
Well, you know, I could play with the track a little bit, and had a couple diamond moves, and actually be up in the wet stuff, come down and grab the rubber, and Hod, you know, been out in the lead, he couldn't play that much, so that's the way we got him. This one's for Cowboy.
All right, congratulations once again. A spectacular run.
Thank you.
A happy Mark Kinser, and we'll go over to the man who did a nice job to run second tonight, standing alongside Dave Reeve.
Bobby and I approached the car, and he looked at me and he said, I just got my butt blowed off. I think that's about the best way to explain what happened tonight.
Yeah, actually, we just stayed on the bottom there a little too long down there, and tried to run the bottom there, and Dale Blaney got away from us there, and so we went back up top there and ran him down, and Mark got us both.
Don't worry, Jack. You'll get yours again. The Pennzoil crew here for the whole year, guys.
The 89th career win for Mark Kinser, and I got a funny feeling that compliment from his dad probably means more
than anything here tonight, Brad.
Oh, it does, and when you put your stamp of approval on when you say that, but you start 9th and beat these guys, these caliber of guys with no yellows, that's incredible. But, you know, we got the first 2 spots have switched. Last week was Jac Haudenschild, Mark Kinser second. This week they switched, so they have to be happy with their season.
Here's a look at the top 10 results. A wild night of racing, Steve.
Oh, absolutely. And Mark Kinser last year really didn't run for the World of Outlaws World Championship. He played around with the Craftsman trucks. That hurt him, and points he didn't earn, points he was penalized. With this showing tonight, I wouldn't bet against Mark Kinser because he's going to run for the title and he's going to run hard. Wow. What an effort.
It's just the first of many live World of Outlaw races here on TNN coming up this summer. Don't forget Dallas in its entirety coming up right after us. The CarQuest Cavalcade of Sprints. Don't forget we stuck around in Manzanita. March 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can see that one where Jac Haudenschild pulls into victory lane. What a great night of racing. We're going to do the World of Outlaws next from Terre Haute. For Dave Reed, Bobby Gerald, my pals Steve Evans and Brad Doty, I'm Ralph Sheen. So long from tonight. We'll see you at Terre Haute in May.
Madness.